I got my own. Like, yeah, I had some I didn't tell her that I was just going.
Oh, for real?
You want to tell me now?
Nah, this is good. Like, it's good. Like, he here till Tuesday. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna see him before Tuesday before he leaves.
We good?
Yeah.
We on? Alright. Alright, we're gonna open up Bible study. Like, sis, cover your head, brother, cover your head and face your room. Get ready to go and open up.
Our Father which art in heaven.
Our Father which art in heaven.
Hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done in earth.
Thy will be done in earth.
As it is in heaven.
As it is in heaven.
Give us this day.
Give us this day
our daily bread.
our daily bread.
And forgive us of our debts.
And forgive us our debts.
As we forgive our debtors.
As we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation.
And lead us not into temptation.
But deliver us from evil.
But deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom.
For thine is the kingdom.
And the power.
And the power.
And the glory.
And the glory. Forever.
Praise the Lord.
In Jesus' name we pray.
In Jesus'
name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
To the end. Bible study. Y'all be back, man. All right. Got a USB adapter. Anybody have an adapter? Should I come on? You got your adapter? I need you to get it. Any questions in house? Before we go online.
Okay, I have a question. When in the Bible did Judah fight against the other tribes of Israel?
Judah? No, Judah fought. No, Benjamin did.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know about Judah. I know Benjamin did. Why you say Judah?
We were listening to something this morning about the history and like the breakdown. Like, it said like in 1379 BC that was when Israel became a nation, and he was going through like history, with different stuff, and so we were just thinking. We thought we'd ask you about some of the things. One of the things that he was saying was that Judah fought against the like the 10 northern tribes or like the other tribes of Israel, but maybe we'll read about Benjamin instead.
Yeah, I look at the Benjamin. I don't remember Judah fighting against. Let's see. I'm gonna Google it. Let's see if it's anywhere read it. Yeah, I know. Elijah will be here next month, y'all. That's what's up. Yeah. Ain't give you no scriptures.
It was kind of more of like what we would say it was a documentary. It was something we found somehow or another, and it was yeah. There were some scriptures in Genesis, Genesis 15:4 when Abraham counted the stars, and that was Israel.
Huh?
The star, like the Lord had Abraham look up at the stars, and that's how many children of Israel. That was like the only nation that would be as numerous as the stars.
I'm listening.
That's what he was saying. So.
That's what he said?
Yeah.
All right, let's see here. Yeah. My wife just sent me a text. And let me see something. Let me see this for real. Oh, okay. The civil defense screwed up, right? and sent out an alert in Hawaii saying that a ballistic missile threat was inbound to Hawaii. Seek immediate shelter. This is not a drill. It was a civil defense mix-up. How can you mix something like that?
Who sent the message though?
My wife just sent it to me.
No.
My family.
Who sent the message to Hawaii?
The civil defense.
And it wasn't
Yeah.
accurate?
Yeah, she just asked me to pray for her family. They was on the panic.
I bet.
You know, how you mistake that? I want. All right, so we'll look at. Let's go look at. We're gonna look at. I'm gonna look at the Benjamites and what took place when they fought against Israel. But I really want to find the one. I really want to see if it's one within with Judah. I don't recall Judah at all. The red bone arrived in Judah. He mustered all Judah and they traveled Benjamin 180,000 men to go to war against Israel to regain the kingdom for red bone. All right, so let's look at 1 Kings. Because it says it right here. Right, here you go. Thanks. Folks, 1 Kings 12. All right, start at verse 1.
First one, 12.
Yeah, 12.
Wow, his name. And Rehoboam,
Rehoboam.
Rehoboam
Rehoboam. Uh-huh.
went into sheep.
Now, speaking of this, I know about this one right here.
Shehem.
What happened right here, Claire?
Uh-huh.
This is when Solomon had died, and there wasn't no king in Israel. So it was passed down to Rehoboam. It's supposed to.
You got a stitch go?
Let me see that. It was passed down to Rehoboam.
Stitch go.
Stitch go?
Yeah, plug that in there first.
Okay. It was passed down to Rehoboam, and mainly what they ended up doing, Rehoboam and I believe Jeroboam, Rehoboam, David's son, took the southern part of the kingdom, which would be Judah, Levi, and Benjamin. And around this time, first Levi was with the northern part. So this is how it went down. You had 12 tribes of Israel. When Solomon died, the kingdom ended up getting split, and it went to Rehoboam. Rehoboam, they consulted with him as to how he was going to deal with the people. You know, they told him to be nice, you know what I'm saying, continue, treating the people like your father did, you know, don't get puffed up and treat everybody bad, right? So Rehoboam was like, man, forget that. I'm gonna run them all in the ground. So that's what he ended up doing, and it caused a split between Israel. And this is what we're finna pick up at. All right. So start at and this the only time I remember them fighting, but that's about it. The other time would be with Benjamin, where they went and fought Benjamin for the homosexuality that was going on in the land. All right, so we're going to start Rehoboam with the Shechem, for all Israel will come to Shechem to make him king, right? All right, go ahead.
And it came to pass when Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who was yet in Egypt, heard of it, for he was fled from the presence of the king Solomon, and Jeroboam dwelt in Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
That they sent and called him, and Jeroboam and all Jeroboam.
Mm-hmm.
And all the congregation of Israel came and spake unto Rehoboam,
Mm-hmm. They came and talked to Rehoboam, saying what?
saying, Thy father made our yoke grievous.
All right, take your time on that. Take your time on that. Read that slow.
Thy father made our yoke grievous.
He said, Thy father made our yoke grievous, right? Go ahead.
Now therefore make thou the grievous service of thy father and his heavy yoke which he put upon us lighter, and we will serve thee.
Mm-hmm. So they saying, the yoke that your father put on us, he made it grievous. But now that you get ready to be king, make it lighter on us. All right, go ahead.
And he said unto them, Depart yet for 3 days, then come again to me.
Mm-hmm.
And the people departed. And King Rehoboam consulted with the old men that stood before Solomon his father while he yet lived,
Mm-hmm.
and said, How do ye advise that I may answer this people?
Okay, so now check out what's going on here. Verse 6. Now, first off, what's happening? They come to talk to Rehoboam, and they mainly saying, just kind of lighten the load on us, all right? So in verse 6, it says here, King Rehoboam consulted with the old man that stood before Solomon his father while he yet lived, and said, How do you advise that I may answer this people? So what he's saying is, what you think I need to do? How do you think, what's your advice on how I should deal with this people? Now keep in mind, Solomon, he dead now, so you got 12 tribes that need some guidance, right? It's supposed to go to Rehoboam. Now, the wise thing to do, man, when Solomon first started his kingdom, like I was saying earlier today, he was, Queen of Sheba came and saw that and was like, man, everybody in the kingdom happy. But as he got older now, he died off and started marrying all them other, concubines and strange women and stuff. So he started getting a little carried away. And, they said here, your father, yeah, he put, his yoke on us was hard. So now that you finna come into power, make the yoke a little lighter. He advises the elders, in other words, asks them, what do you think I should do? How do you think I should deal with these people? Now watch what the older people say. Go ahead.
And they spake unto him, saying, If thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and wilt serve them, and answer them, and speak good words to them, then they will be thy servants forever.
Right. Put that on there so you can keep it with you. So he's saying they're gonna be thy servants forever, right? If you speak good words to them, you do them good, and they're gonna be your servants forever. Just think about it. That's what I was saying today. You call yourself the king of your castle, right? You got to know how to make everybody happy. Then ain't nobody, they won't have no problem. Wife won't have no problem taking care of you. Your sons and your daughters won't mind have no problem. Being respectful if you know how to, run everything right. So it just makes sense for them to say that here. They spake unto him, saying, If thou wilt be a servant unto this people this day, and will serve them and answer them and speak good words to them, then they will be thy servants forever. Go ahead and read.
But he forsook the counsel of old men,
of the old men,
which they had given him, and consulted with the young men that were grown up with him, and which stood before him.
But you see that, right? He didn't want to hear what the old men had to say. He forsook the counsel of them and just listened to the younger men, right? He said, forsook the counsel and consulted with the young men that were growing up with him and which stood before him. And what happened? Verse 9.
And he said unto them, What counsel give ye that we may answer this people who gave spoken to me?
Who have spoken to me.
Who have spoken to me. Saying, Make the yoke which thy father did put upon us lighter.
Right. So what he's saying is, he's just repeating what the people said. He said, what do you think I should answer this people who spoke to me, saying, make the people of this, make the yoke which thy father did put upon us lighter. So he's just describing what they said, asking what you think I should do to them. Now he's asking counsel from the younger men now. What they say?
And the young men that were grown up with him spake unto him, saying, Thus shalt Thus shalt thou speak unto this people
Mhm.
that spake unto thee, saying, Thy father I made our yoke heavier, but make thou it lighter unto us.
Mhm.
Thus shalt thou say unto them, My little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins.
So he says, my little finger gonna be thicker than my father's loins. In other words, I'm gonna make the workload worse than what my father did. Now it makes sense to just do what the older people say, right? The older people say, well, just hey, if you want them to serve you, treat them right, man. Speak good words to them. You ain't gotta worry. Hey, they'll serve you all the days of your life, man. If you're doing good. That's why I was saying, saying to somebody in my family the other day, they trying to get a little thing going on, a little family get together. They bickering and stuff like that. You got everybody coming out the woodwork with their opinions. And I told my uncle, he a little younger than me, about a few months. And I just told him, I said, man, let them do what they do. Just stay out of it, man. Let them handle it. They're gonna be all right. I say, but sometimes the best leaders lead behind the scenes. And you didn't want to listen. I guess they got into an argument anyway. But sometimes you got to know how to pick your battles, man. You got to know what's going to make things work and not, and right here, the older man told him, hey, speak nice to them and they're going to work for you, but the young man said, that grew up with him, they spake of him saying, hey, tell them, my little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins. I'm going to make it worse. Verse 11.
And now, whereas my father did laid you with a heavy yoke, I will add to your yoke.
Mm-hmm.
My father had chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with
scorpions, right? So you see that, right? He going off. He's like, my father, he chastised you with whips. I'm gonna beat you with scorpions, whatever that is. But he just letting I'm finna turn it up now. It's finna get worse. And what's happening here, Sister Claire, this is actually what's gonna cause the split between Judah and Israel. You see, this is what's gonna come in, because hey, he would have been able to handle it by himself if he just would have listened to the elders here. But he listened to the ones that grew up with him, then it's gonna cause a split. Now this is where Jeroboam gonna come into the picture. He gonna run the 10 tribes. Rehoboam, he gonna run the other 2 tribes, which is Judah and Benjamin. You see, and that's where they actually fighting against each other. All right, so let's see here. So it says, so Jeroboam, he said, I'm gonna chastise you with scorpions. So Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam. So they come to him talking to him. They coming to Rehoboam, even Jeroboam coming, and we're gonna try to figure this out. Maybe we can, let's talk about this, man. They don't gotta be this way. So he says, so Jeroboam and all the people came to Rehoboam the 3rd day, as the king had appointed, saying, come to me again the 3rd day. Verse 13.
And the king answered the people roughly, and forsook the old men's counsel that they gave him.
Right, so hey, he answered them roughly. He ain't pay attention to what the old man said. Instead, what he did?
And spake unto them after the counsel of the young man.
So he, like he said earlier, I'm gonna do worse than what my father did. He said, they spake to them after the counsel of the young man, saying, my father made your yoke heavy, and I will add to your yoke. My father also chastised you with whips, but I'll chastise you with scorpions. 15.
Well, for the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was from the Lord, that he might perform his saying.
Now, but who is this coming from? This is actually the Lord is the one that's causing this. The Lord is the one that's behind the scenes that's actually causing this split, though, because they're going to split up. He said, wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was from the Lord, that he might perform his saying, which the Lord spake by Ahijah, the Shilonite, unto Jeroboam the son of Nebat. Verse 16.
So when all Israel saw that the king hearkened not unto them, the people answered the king, saying, What portion have we in David? Neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse. To your
Jesse.
tent, or Jesse.
Jesse.
To your tent, O Israel. Now see to thine own house, David. So Israel departed unto their own tents.
So it says when they all saw, all Israel saw that the king hearkened not unto them. The people answered the king, saying, "What portion have we in David? Neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse." So we ain't got nothing, man. We supposed to have some. This David people, Solomon's people, but Solomon done died, so his son coming up, and instead of him treating them right, he gonna treat them bad. So they're asking, what portion do we have in David? Mainly, they just went on to their tents. Verse 17, it says what?
But as for the children of Israel, which dwelt in the cities of Judah.
Right, so the children of Israel that was living in Judah, because remember the lands, they were split up anyway. They all got their plot. But for the ones that was in Judah, what happened?
In Judah, Rehoboam regained over them.
Right, Rehoboam reigned over them.
Reigned over.
So that's what ended up happening. This how Rehoboam came up as king over the southern tribes. All right, this is when they first split. All right, so it says Rehoboam reigned over them, and what happened? Verse 18.
Then the king Rehoboam sent Adoram, who was over the tribe
tribute.
Okay, who was over the tribute, and all Israel stoned him with stones that he died.
Wow.
Therefore, King Rehoboam made speed to get up to his chariot to flee to Jerusalem. So Israel rebelled against the house of David until this day.
So this is where they finna start fighting. That's why I say, so Israel rebelled against the house of David against this day, until this day. What happened?
And it came to pass when all Israel heard that Jeroboam was come again, that they sent and called him unto the congregation.
All right, so now go over to what's the name? You read the rest on your own. Skip down to verse 23. Yeah, just because I'm trying to get to where they split at, where you're going to see where Jeroboam actually came to power. But let's see here, because I don't want to skip it. I need it. It said when Rehoboam was come to Jerusalem, he assembled all the house of Judah with the tribe of Benjamin. Okay, so notice what he doing. Rehoboam, he came to Jerusalem, he assembled all the house of Judah with the tribe of Benjamin. So now, this is how they're going to come together. Like, remember when they also was calling Paul, remember they was calling Paul a Jew, right? But was Paul really a Jew, though?
Benjamin.
He was a Benjamin. You see what I'm saying? But they was all together. Like when Jesus came, it was Judah, Levi, and Benjamin. You know what I'm saying? Still in Jerusalem when the Lord came, when Jesus came in the flesh. All the other 10 tribes, all the other 11 tribes, 8 tribes, 9 tribes. All the other 9 tribes had already been scattered among the Assyrians. You see, so the split had already taken place. But Paul, being a Benjamite, this is what they referred to them as, because they was rolling together. The Jews, Judah was, Benjamin, and Levi came back later on, so they would be, really considered that part as the southern part of Israel. So it's saying when Rehoboam was coming to Jerusalem, he assembled all the house of Judah with the tribe of Benjamin, 180. That's 80. That's what that is. One score is 20, 2 scores 40, 3 scores 60, 4 scores 80. So it says here 1,000, which is 180,000. Chosen men, which were warriors to fight against the house of Israel. So this is where you see the fight. But the Lord gonna stop it though. But they get ready to, go down. But the Lord gonna stop them from fighting for some time. He say, 180,000 chosen men, which were warriors to fight against the house of Israel, to bring the kingdom against Rehoboam, the son of Solomon. But what? Verse 22.
But speak unto Rehoboam.
22.
Oh, 22. But the word of God came unto Shemaiah, the man of God, saying, Speak unto Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, king of Judah, and unto all the house of Judah and Benjamin, and to the remnant of the people, saying, Thus said the Lord, ye shall not go up, nor fight against your brethren, the children of Israel.
So he told them, no, don't do it. Don't go up to fight against your brother and the children of Israel. What?
Return every man to his house, for this thing is for me.
Right, so from me. So the Lord is the one that was behind this. The Lord is the one that was causing this division. Like, I mean, Solomon did. So you ain't got no righteousness left. So the Lord finna split the kingdom up. That's why he talked about in certain places in the Bible bringing Israel back together. You know, the two branches and stuff, stick of Ephraim and all that type of stuff. You talk about bringing them back because they split right now. All right, but this when you see the split actually begin to take place. So I say, speaking of Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, king of Judah, and unto all the house of Judah and Benjamin, and to the remnant of the people, saying, Thus saith the Lord, ye should not go up nor fight against your brethren, the children of Israel. Return every man to his house, for this thing is from me. They what?
They hearkened therefore to the word of the Lord, and returned to depart according to the word of the Lord.
Go ahead.
Then Jeroboam built Shechem, and Mount Ephraim, and dwelt therein, and went out from thence, and built Penuel,
Spell it for me.
P-E-N-U, Penuel, P-E-N-U-E-L. And Jeroboam said in his heart, Now shall the kingdom return to the house of David. If these people go up to do sacrifice in the house of the Lord at Jerusalem, then shall the heart of these people turn again unto their Lord, even unto Rehoboam, king of Judah, and they shall kill me, and go again to Rehoboam, king of Judah. Whereof the king took the counsel, and made 2 calves of gold, and said unto them, It is too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. Behold thy God, O Israel, which brought thee up out of Egypt, which brought thee up out the land of Egypt. And he set the one in Bethlehem, and the other put he in Dan. And this thing became a sin, for the people went to worship before the one, even unto Dan. And he made an house of high places, and made priests of the lowest of the people, which were not the sons of Levi. And Jeroboam ordained a feast in the 8th month on the 15th day of the month, like unto the feast that is in Judah. And he offered upon the altar. So did he in Bethlehem, sacrificing unto the calves that he had made. And he placed in Bethlehem, the priest of the high place which he had made.
All right, you good, bro.
I was like,
I'm gonna keep reading
until you tell me to stop.
All right, I was looking for something. But skip down to go to 14. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for.
I was gonna keep reading.
Chapter 14?
Yeah, 14 and but this really gonna answer your question right here. You know, 14 verse 30. And Jeroboam died, he's gonna die. Rehoboam gonna take the kingdom. You go read it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But look at verse 30.
And there was war between Rehoboam and Jeroboam all their days, and Rehoboam slept with his fathers and was buried with his fathers in the city.
So this is where it started at, right here. All right. So that's why, you know, just to get to the nutshell, that's why I tell you right here, there was war between Rehoboam and Jeroboam all their days. So that's the only time when they really was fighting like that. You know what I'm saying? When the kingdom had split, and that's after Solomon died.
Okay.
All right. So I'm sorry, Mason, I read all that, but I was trying to find my point. Excuse me.
Yeah, I'm glad I read all that.
taste. I bought up like a popcorn shrimp. I sucked my thumb.
Yeah, so that's when they first split up, man, and they was fighting and bickering all that time. It's another one in here too. Yeah, that's about the Benjamites though. That's about the Sodomites in the land when it was dealing with. It was so bad to the point where this guy had a concubine, and I'm trying to see. I'm gonna see if I can show you where it's at. But the guys were so bad in the land that they wanted to sleep with men, and what took place was this guy's concubine had left and went back home to the father. So he went to go get her, and he left his father's house. And as he was going through a country, a particular city, he stopped, and guy invited him in his house, told him to stay with him because if he stayed out all night, the guys in the city would try to sleep with him, So they was trying to get at him, and I think it was the concubine and the guy who he stayed with, his daughter, they was like, we'll give you them to take, but don't mess with this man. You understand? Because that's foul. You know what I'm saying?
It would have been real bad. That was a trick to get him in the house. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, no, he was the righteous man.
Yeah, I know. I said
he was the righteous man. No, he was a righteous man. But it was people in the city that he was trying to, this man was trying to protect. Because you don't do that. That's like with Lot. The same situation with Lot. You got these men come to his house, and Lot came to the door because they trying to get inside Lot's house to get these men, which are really angels that was there. They trying to get in Lot's house, and Lot say, well, he go out to the door like, listen, man, you can take my daughters, man, but don't do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is foul, bro. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to sleep with these men, man. Take my daughters, man. They was like, man, who the hell are you, man? Like, we'll take you too. You know what I'm saying? You better get out of here. Who you think you is coming in our city telling us what to do? But that's how wicked, they were. And that let you know that God ain't pleased with this act in the first place. You know what I'm saying? That's why he destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah.
That's a level of dedication and commitment to be willing to give up your daughter.
Yeah, well, and that's how that act is wicked, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna give your daughters up, ain't never been with a man before, but just to stop them from performing that act on this man, you would give your daughters up who ain't never been with nobody before. Right. But that's the same thing that happened in this case here when Benjamin fought against Israel. And they was fighting, man. When I say they was fighting, they was going at it. I mean, they was killing off thousands, man. So he ended up going in the house, and he left his the concubine outside. They gave the concubine over to her. The next morning they got up, and the concubine was by the door, and she was dead. So the man took his concubine, took her home, cut her in pieces, and sent her throughout all the tribes of Israel to show what done happened to his concubine. These guys done set up here. They so wicked that they raped her to the point that they killed her. You know what I'm saying? And then that's what caused Israel, all the other tribes to come on up to fight against Benjamin. And Well, that just, that just show you that's a wicked act, man. That's a wicked act within itself. Trying to see if I can find. I ain't gonna spend too much time finding. When I find it, I'll get it to you. But what else we got? Any other questions?
I had a question about I forgot the name of the person you were talking about, how he
Judges 19. That's where it's at.
he
Judges chapter
worked
19.
7 years.
Judges 19.
He worked 7 years for Rachel, right? And then he woke, he got drunk and everything. Woke up the next day and realized that it was his sister, old tenderized. And you know what I'm saying? So you were saying like it was a covenant, but like like the honeymoon thing when you sleep with her, that's when it's sealed and everything. And then he did the 7 years for Rachel, but since it was that tomfoolery and he got tricked and everything like that, does that still count as the covenant being sealed?
Yeah, because remember what he said. Go back to it. Let's go back to it. And the question for those online, we got to get some mics here. I'm gonna get the mics and the board and stuff like that, because people that watch online, that way stuff can run through that. Because y'all know in Atlanta, you can walk to the microphone and ask a question. It run right through the board, so people can hear right here. So, but the question mainly is when Jacob got with Leah, based on what happened, how Laban had deceived him, is the marriage still good? Because it was done on, it wasn't done on the premise of Jacob understanding what he was getting into.
Right.
However, Jacob could have, he could have walked out of the deal, though, right? See, Laban told him, he said, we don't have that custom in our land that you take the younger before you take the older, right? Even though he got deceived, the next day when he talked to him and asked him, what he do that for? He told him. He said, we don't have that custom where you take the older daughter. Take the younger daughter before you take the older.
You told him afterwards, though.
Right, but check out what he said. He gonna tell him, and then watch how Jacob responds to this, though. Because Jacob had a chance. He could have got out of it, though, right?
Where's it at again?
Genesis 29. We're going to pick it up at verse 16. Genesis 29, verse 16. Go and read that.
And Laban had 2 daughters. The name of the elder was Leah, and the name of the younger was Rachel. Leah was tender-eyed, but Rachel was beautiful and well-favored. And Jacob loved Rachel and said, I will serve thee 7 years for Rachel, thy younger daughter. And Laban said, it is better that I give her to thee than that I should give her to another man. Abide with me. And Jacob served 7 years for Rachel, and they seemed unto him but a few days. But the love.
Okay, so he agreed to that, right? He agreed for Rachel, right? All right, so we know they're gonna have a party, they're gonna have to get together, right? And let's see what happens. Pick it up at verse 25.
And it came to pass that in the morning, behold, it was Leah. And he said to Laban, What is this thou hast done unto me? Did not I serve with thee for Rachel? Wherefore that hast thou beguiled me? And Laban said, it must not be so done in our country to give the younger before the firstborn.
So, he told him, hey, we don't do that. But he had opportunity to tell him that first, right?
Yeah.
But notice what the father's going to do, though. Read verse 27.
Fulfill her week, and we will give thee this also for the service.
Okay, so now we got another agreement getting put on the table, right? He say, fulfill her week, talking about Rachel, and we're going to give her to you also. All right? So now we got another agreement being put out here, right? Go ahead and read, brother.
For the service which thou shalt serve me yet 7 other years.
Go ahead.
And Jacob did so.
Wait a minute, Jacob what?
And Jacob did so.
He agreed to it. And said Jacob did so, didn't he?
Yeah.
He agreed to it.
He wanted that baby, though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Whether he wanted it or not.
Getting out of Leah.
Huh?
There wasn't no getting out of Leah already. He was stuck with that.
I mean, he could have made a point about that. Nah, I mean, that was done. It wasn't done right.
Yeah, like all the stipulations wasn't.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Like,
He
he
deceived him.
Yeah.
But he want her so bad, like,
Right.
okay, cool, I'll do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's all the plan of God, though, because out of Leah, man, shoot, about six of the tribes came out of Leah. Wow. You see what I'm saying? So the Lord shut Rachel's womb because he knew Leah was hated. It tells you that. You know what I'm saying? So, but the point is that he had an opportunity to say, well, we're not gonna do it. Nah, that ain't the deal, man. You know, so.
You gotta make that fine print.
So right on top of that, he agreed. Well, your word was your bond. You see, but in this case right here, the father pulled it. It must knew his daughter was ugly. You know what I'm saying? It's like as a father, you know, ain't nobody gonna want you, girl. We gotta hurt somebody.
Trick somebody there.
Yeah, he tricked somebody. He must knew she was ugly, man. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, but that's our grandmama somewhere down the line. But go ahead, next question. It is. It's somebody, it's one of his great grandma. Yeah, but you know, yeah, her daddy had to trick him, man. And she was tender-eyed, man. She was tender on the eyes. Ooh. Lord have mercy. All right, so what else we got? Anybody else want to go online? See if somebody. Go ahead, sis.
I just wanted to see where it's like in reference to when you said that like if somebody has a physical handicap, they cannot be a teacher or
Yeah.
yeah.
Humpback and dwarf. We'll read it.
Okay.
Yeah, man, the Lord particular, man. People don't understand, like, you know, they just make it like God is just, I mean, you think like a man, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know how brothers, even sisters, you get with somebody, you be looking at them, you try to see how they look. You know, more than likely what draws you to that person is how they look on the outside, you know what I'm saying? And when it comes to God, it just don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Y'all better stop that. You don't give somebody like, oh man, that was McFugly. Because it's all about the heart. All right. Okay. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, but
Somebody for somebody.
yeah. You like it? I
the
love
whole
it.
saying, they say, you know, it's on the inside that counts.
Yeah, that's
they
what
say
I'm
when
saying.
somebody needs to flip you inside out.
Oh man. So let's see here. All right. This one. Okay, question online says Revelation 22:8. This was used to say that if you do not keep the sayings of this book, you don't have an angel around you. My question is, what about Job? He was just. What about folks that are saved from daily situation, or those who may miss a semi-truck by an inch, or their way on their way to Sunday church with a pork sandwich in their lap, still miss a daily accident, or they don't do what the Lord said, but still spared. Also, Revelation 22:3-5. This is the Father's kingdom. Okay, all right, we'll look at that. Revelation 22:8. Why would they say that? Revelation 22:8-9.
I got it.
Read that for me, bro. And then we come to you on next action.
And I, John, saw these things and heard them. And when I had heard and seen, I fell down to worship before the feet of the angel which showed me these things. Then said he unto me, See, thou do it not, for I am fellow servant and of thy brethren the prophets, and of them which keep the sayings of this book worship God.
Okay, so I see where that generates from. So the question regarding this is, this was used to say that if you do not keep the sayings of this book, you don't have an angel around you. Yeah, because Job kept the commandments, and the Lord moved the angel from around him, and he was just. You see what I'm saying? So that's not a true statement. You know, I can go into the Bible and tell you that the Lord reigned on the just as well as the unjust. You know, and then so that let me know by him reigning on the just as well as the unjust. It's just like he gonna have mercy on you, keeping the commandments. See, go to 2 Peter chapter 3 right quick, because that's the case. If we didn't have some type of protection around us, believe me, we all be dead. You know what I'm saying? Like we be dead like right out the gate. That's why God got these angels surrounding us to keep us, even in your sin. That's where that grace come in. Like you should be dead in your sin, but the Lord don't allow that angel to touch you, that death angel to hit you. Also, Psalms 34 and verse 7. We're gonna look at that after this. 2 Peter 3. Pick it up at start at verse 9, man.
The Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but is long suffering to usward.
Right. So in other words, the Lord have mercy on us, man. The Lord ain't slack concerning this promise. He gonna come back and he gonna tear the world up. Like a lot of people don't believe it, but that's what the Lord gonna do, right? You know, and a lot of people don't believe it, but just because things are still going on, you know, the Lord ain't came back yet. Sometimes people get slack and feel like, well, God ain't never coming back, but His time ain't the same as ours. That's why. Oh, don't interrupt.
I'm sorry.
When I open up the floor, all right. But the Lord, His time ain't the same as ours. You understand? So, you know, He give you an opportunity to get yourself together. That's why He said in verse 8, He said, but beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is one day. So, you may feel like, you know, people, we get the world going to hell in a handbasket. The Lord ain't coming back. He ain't doing nothing. He just closing His eyes and letting people sin. No, His time ain't the same as ours. It's gonna come a time where the time gonna run out, though. We getting closer and closer to that now. But He said, what? Verse 9, the Lord is not slack concerning His promise. He gonna come back. But at the same time, He said some men count slackness. So you may count God as being slack because you ain't seen no destruction on a big scale yet. It's coming, believe me. But His slackness ain't the same as I see. His time is a totally different time than what we consider. You see? He said, but He is long suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish. So if He wanted us to perish, man, He just move all these angels out the way. You see what I'm saying? I mean, death would just be running rapid. Now, don't get me wrong, death is alive and well. You turn to 6 o'clock news, somebody gonna be dead. Like it happens everywhere. People dying every day. But what about the ones that He, making it to 80 years old? You know what I'm saying? What about you leave here and you make it home safe? You go to work every day, you make it home safe. Like the Lord keeping you, man. The Lord ain't just because you ain't keeping His commandments. No, He reign on the just as well as the unjust. You see, He give you an opportunity, man. Like He said right here, what? He said, but it's long suffering. So if He long suffering, that means what? He giving you a chance. He letting that angel know, nah, you can't touch him. You can't take him. Now, you might have some little trouble that going on. You might get popped inside your head every now and then. Lord, how you think most of us end up coming to class? You keep going through this wicked life and you trying to figure out, Lord, I need some answers. I don't know what's going on. Next thing you know, hey, the Lord done led you here. But, some of the stuff I did back in the day, I should have died in my sins. Think about if He didn't have no angel protecting me. I mean, one time Lord, I hope they don't pull this back on camera. One time I did something when I was about 21 years old. I got robbed in the game or whatever, and I had to get at him. I ain't get at him and hurt nobody. They knew not to play with me no more, you know what I'm saying? But the point is, in doing something like I should have been dead, man. In that life and that, doing what I should have been dead right out the gate, though. So if God didn't have some type of angels protecting us, man, we all be dead. You see? So for them to say, for that to be said like that, that's not the case. But He is, John is seeing the vision here in Revelation 3. Revelation 3. Let me ask y'all something. All right, so even before you came to the truth, right? Did you have some type of fear of God? Like, did you have some type of respect for God? Like, you didn't, right?
No.
I'm saying, but did you go around just cussing out God? Like, I don't have to do it?
No, not like that.
But I'm saying, but were you to the point Where you just cut God off. You don't have nothing to do.
Oh no.
I've been there.
Huh?
I've been there.
Yeah.
My face been so low before that, you know what I'm saying? I
Just give up. Yeah. And in that time, man, like sometimes God will put you there, man, to humble you, man. You know what I'm saying?
learning that right now.
Yeah. Sometimes, man, like when you go through stuff like that, man, like God will humble you, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I tell Jesus all the time, man. Like, well, Lord had to bring me down. You know what I'm saying? But that's when he try to get your attention.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He'll do that. He'll do it. I take it all the way to the hospital bed. You know, he'll put you in your deathbed to get your attention. You know what I'm saying? I can read that to you. He'll put the cords of affliction on you, and give you that breath of life just enough for you to be sitting there. And you have to think, Lord, if you can get me up out of this, I won't do this no more. You know what I'm saying? So he'll do that. But like I say, the Lord, He had mercy on all of us, man. He had mercy on all of us to be alive, not necessarily let Satan attack us. Go to Job. Go to Job. And the Job being brought up in this case make a lot of sense because Job, hey, he hadn't did nothing wrong. And he got attacked by Satan. So for to say that if you ain't serving God, then you ain't got these angels on you. I don't know about that because I mean, there's many times I could have been doing that. I knew it was God. So Job chapter 2. But I don't know. I'm gonna look into that a little more because it might be another understanding to that. I don't think he just said that out of nowhere. He probably got a deep understanding of it. But Job chapter 2, pick it up at verse 3.
And the Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth God and
escheweth evil.
And truest evil.
Escheweth, man.
Escheweth evil. My bad. And truest evil. And still he hold fast his integrity, although movest me against him to destroy him. Movest.
Move. Just say move.
Move me against him to destroy him without cause. And Satan answered the Lord and said, Skin for skin, yea, all that a man has will give for his life.
Right, so he's saying here, the Lord said, have you considered my servant Job, right? So now keep in mind, this is Satan on the earth. Satan got cast out of heaven, so he's walking on this earth. He'll fall on angels. All right, but he walking back and forth in the earth. Like he said in verse 2, the Lord said unto Satan, From whence comest thou? Ask him, say, where you been at? What you doing? He said, Satan answered the Lord and said, From going to and fro on the earth, and from walking up and down in it. The Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil. What else?
And still he holdeth fast in his integrity. Although thou moved against me, although moved me against him to destroy him without cause.
Right. So he says, although thou moved, he escheweth evil, and he still hold fast his integrity. Although, this is the Lord talking to Satan, although you move me against him, even though you try to talk against, say things to me about him, he still ain't turning. Job still ain't giving up, right? Although thou move me against him to destroy him without a cause. See, Job ain't do nothing wrong. Like he lost his family, lost everything he had. Now Satan is coming back to God to see about touching his body. All right, we're going to read though, verse 4.
And Satan answered the Lord and said, Skin for skin, yea, all that the man has would he give for his life.
He said, yeah, that's a statement. He said, Satan answered the Lord and said, Skin for skin, yeah, all that a man have would he give for his life. Yeah, when he get down to that point where he about to die, yeah, he'll turn on you at this time. But notice what the Lord gonna tell him. Go ahead.
But put forth thy hand now, and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will be cursed thee to thy face.
Right. So he said, this Satan talking to the Lord. He said, but if you put forth your hand now and touch his bone and his flesh, he'll curse you to your face. See, that's what, like you said, man, you kind of down, man. You felt like, man, you might have been on your own. Well, that's when Satan got you, man. He wants you to turn against God. But Job being upright, man, hey, that wasn't going to happen. You see, God even let you know he wasn't upright, man. But at the same time, he's still going to allow Satan to touch him. But he's going to tell him, he's going to put restrictions on that, though. See, sometimes you'll go through some things, man. If it don't, like they say, if it don't kill you, to make you what? It'll make you stronger, man. And sometimes, situations in life, man, hey, I've seen it, man, they'll make you strong. And then the stuff you might be experiencing may be for somebody else. Like one brother told me, I told the brother, I said, man, shoot, man, I got into some trouble, had to go to jail. I said, man, well, at least you go to jail and preach to the brothers in jail, man. I said, somebody got to do it. He said, yeah, but why it got to be me? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, I'm better you than me, bro. But somebody got to do it, you know what I'm saying? So he said, but put forth thy hand now and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will curse thee to thy face. What does it say, verse 6?
And the Lord said unto Satan, behold, he is in thy hand, but save his life.
Right, so the Lord told him, hey, you can touch him, but save his life. All right, put your hands on him, but don't touch his life. What you learn also learn right here that Satan got to get permission from God to do anything anyway. See, the Lord tell him you can touch him, but don't touch his life. Right after that, what happened?
And the Lord said unto Satan, behold,
7.
Oh, 7. Oh yeah. So went Satan forth from the presence of the Lord, and smote Job with sore boils from the sole of his feet unto his crown.
And what happened? Right after that, you see Satan. Right after that, you see Satan want to touch his body, right? Mm-hmm. But he couldn't do nothing else though. But keep reading. Skip down to verse. I want y'all to see something. Skip down to verse. Read verse 9. Read verse 9. Because remember, Satan said, "You touch him." He said, "You touch him. You take all that he got here, curse you to your face, right?" Well, watch how he gonna get it in his wife. Go ahead and read.
Then said his wife unto him, doest thou still retain thy integrity?
Now his wife come and say, Job, you still, retain your integrity? What else?
Curse God and die.
Hey, because remember Satan said he'll curse you to your face. Now you see Satan working through his wife. You see that? But see, that's just like Satan when he came to Eve. He told Eve, hey, you eat from the tree of knowledge and good of evil. He said, Satan came to Eve and said, the God said you can eat of every tree of the God. She said, yeah. She said, we can eat from every tree of the God, but the tree that's in the midst of the God, we can't eat of it, neither shall we touch it, lest we die. Satan said, girl, you ain't gonna die. You're gonna be all right. You're gonna be of God's knowing good and evil. You ain't gonna die though. She's like, oh, okay, for real. Well, let me go tell Adam. And Adam's like, oh, okay, for real. Oh, we ain't gonna die. We're gonna be good. So he just went there and he sat there and believed that conversation. Job said what? Job told him in verse 10 what?
But he said unto her, thou speakest as one of the fools, as one of the foolish. Woman speak.
Right, he said, so you sound like a foolish woman. Like he rebuking her right there. That's what Adam could have did to Eve, you see. So it could have been stopped. Death could have been taken off the table. But hey, Adam went on to eat from the tree also.
Adam, he's so weak.
Yeah. He fell for it, but he was the first one at it. That's why he considered the first Adam, and when Jesus came, he considered the last Adam. Because Jesus got tried too, right? When he came out that wilderness, Satan came to him, But Jesus hit him with the word. You know what I'm saying? He hit him with that word. It is written. It is written. It is written. You know what I'm saying? He hit him with the Old Testament. So, hey, ain't no telling how we would have responded. But I know one thing, Adam get into the kingdom. The Bible called him the Son of God in Luke chapter 3. So he made it. He's gonna be in the kingdom, so but the point is he could have rebuked Eve just like Job is doing. He said unto her, thou speak as one of the foolish women speaketh. What? Shall we receive good at the hand of God, and shall we not receive evil? And all this did not Job sin with his lips. So you gotta be careful, man. Learn how to keep that tongue though. Regardless of what you're going through. You want to have that report where it's saying all this you still ain't sin with you still ain't speaking against God. That's why I tell people, man, be careful. Like, I understand you may catch hell and stuff like that. That's life, though. That come with Adam. That come all the way with Adam. Go back and look at what the Lord said was going to happen to this man. And you'll see that, you're going to fall up under one of them curses one way or the other. God didn't want to put this on us. Hey, man sinned, so we pay the consequences for it. You know what I'm saying? But Job didn't sin with his lips. But go back over to Job 1 and pick it up at verse 10. Notice what the Lord said to him in verse 10. Read that for me.
Has not thou made a hedge about him, and about his house, and about all that he has on every side?
Now this is Satan talking to the Lord. What he's saying to him in verse 8, he said, the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job? This is when the Lord, this is the first time when the Lord allowed Satan to hit Job's house. His kids and his cattle and stuff like that. The Lord told him, he said, have you considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feared God and escheweth evil. Then Satan answered the Lord and said, doth Job fear God for nothing, for naught? Has not thou made a hedge about him? Go on and read, brother.
And about his house.
So you don't put, in other words, you got some protection around him. I can't touch him because you got this protection surrounding him. You see? But this protection is Psalm 34 and 7. Let's see what that is. Psalm 34 and verse 7. Psalms 34 and verse 7. All right, go ahead and read that.
The angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him and delivered.
Right, but notice how do you have his head around? It said the angel of the Lord encamped round about them that fear him and delivered them, right? But we know Job was an upright man. Why the angel of the Lord encamp around him right now? The Lord moved that hedge. But Job ain't do nothing wrong. You see? Job hadn't done nothing wrong. The Lord allowed Satan to touch him. He had to move them hedges. He had to take the angels off of him. I'm showing you this because if the Lord take them angels off from around us, what you think gonna happen? Satan coming. Satan coming. Not to say that we are righteous and stuff like that, but when he say he reigned on the just as well as the unjust, hey, the Lord have mercy on us. That's why I showed you that, he ain't to the point where he just sitting up there like, I can't wait to knock Julius off the rocket tomorrow. I'm gonna get him. You know what I'm saying? As soon as he get up in the morning, I'm gonna hit him, boy. Like that ain't what God is doing. He ain't rubbing, licking his chop and wanting to kill us. He said he's long suffering, not willing that what? That any should perish. So it ain't like he's sitting up there trying to, want to take hedges from around. Sometimes he'll do it though. Sometimes he'll remove them hedges off of us, and then, you open game then. But for the most part, the Lord keeping us, man, because giving us a chance. He giving us a chance to get back, get this salvation. So he don't do that all the time. He don't take them angels. I can't say that. But in Revelation here with John saw, let's go read that again. And then we're gonna read that last one. Then we're gonna go to that let's ask this question.
22:8.
Yeah, is that what it's at?
22:8.
Yeah, read that for me.
And John saw these things and heard them. And when I had heard and seen, I fell down to worship before the feet of the angel which showed me these things, and said unto me, see thou do it not, for I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren the prophets, and for them which keep the sayings of this book, worship God.
Right. So the question was, if this was used to say that if you do not keep the sayings of this book, you do not have an angel around you. It don't say that though. All we see here in Revelation 22, it just says, and I, John, saw these things and heard them. And when I heard and seen, I fell down to worship before the feet of the angel. It don't say all angels. He's talking about this particular angel that he's talking to. He said, I fell down to worship before the feet of the angel which showed me these things. That's what John said. This particular angel that came talking to him, he fell down to worship it And the angel told him not to. Then he said unto me, see thou do it not, for I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren, the prophets, and of them which keep the sayings of this book, worship God. That's all it says. He said, I'm your fellow servant, and of your brethren, the prophets. It don't say that I'm protecting you or not. He just said, I am your fellow servant. In other words, a fellow servant, when I see fellow servant, I also serve God just like you. That's what I see right there. I don't see nothing else right here. I see a fellow servant, like you, my fellow servant. Right? Y'all my fellow servants, right? We serving God together. Not only you serving me right here. He just told him in verse 8, he said, what? I fell down to worship before the feet of the angel, which showed me these things. I fell down to worship the angel. The angel said unto me, see thou do it not. Why should you not worship me? Why shouldn't he worship the angel? What it say? I am what?
Fellow servant.
I'm your fellow servant. I'm just like you, man. That's why you don't need to sit down and worship me. So that don't mean, that's not saying that, you don't have an angel around you if you don't keep that don't say that. He's just saying, don't worship me, I'm your fellow servant. In other words, I serve God just like you. That's what he's saying. So he's saying, get up off the ground. Don't bow down to me. That's what the angel's saying. That's all that's saying. So hopefully that cleared that up. What you got?
Yeah, I was just wondering, being that it's an angel and if he's saying, yo, I'm a fellow servant just like you, so I mean that just means like he's already up there with the Lord and was descended from the heavens to.
What we saying is a vision right here. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it's a vision. He was on the Isle of Patmos. But the point is that the angels serve God too.
Yeah.
Right. So we are. So he's saying, I'm a servant just like you. Why you worshiping me, man? You need to worship God.
Right.
And that's what he's saying. Get up off the ground, bro. Don't do that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, you got another place that's gonna do the same thing. Go to Acts chapter 10 right quick. Acts chapter 10. You're gonna see something else like this. Acts chapter 10. Acts 10, and pick this up at verse 25. Acts 10 and verse 25. What did it say?
And as Peter was coming in, Cornelius met him.
Now this Peter coming to tell Cornelius what he need to do to get saved, what he need to do to receive salvation. So it said as Peter was coming in, Cornelius met him and fell down at his feet and did what?
And worshipped him.
So Cornelius fell down and worshiped him, right? And what Peter said?
But Peter took him up and saying, stand up. I myself also am a man.
Right, so that's kind of like what the angel said. The angel said, get up, man. I'm your fellow servant. You know what I'm saying? You don't worship me. In this case right here, you see another example of something like the same thing going on. Peter just said, listen, man, took him up, saying, stand up, I myself also am a man. I'm just like you. Don't worship me, man. Like just like the angel. Angel, he ain't a man, but the angel said, I'm your fellow servant. You see? So that's more along the lines of what they're saying. Now, Revelation 22, and then we're gonna look at this the dwarf and the humpback. Revelation 22 and 3. The question was, is this the Father's kingdom?
All right, 22 and 3. And there shall be
Did I say
no
go
more. Oh,
Revelation 22. No, you good. Everybody do that.
sorry.
I'll be catching them. Revelation 22. All right, read verse 3.
And there shall be no more curse, but the throne of God and the Lamb shall be in it, and his servants shall serve him. And they shall see his face, and his name shall be in their foreheads.
Mm-hmm.
And there shall be no night there, and there shall be no need. There shall be no need, no candle.
Mm-hmm.
Neither light of the sun.
And they need no candle.
Oh yeah, they need no candle.
Uh-huh.
Neither light of the sun,
Mm-hmm.
for the Lord giveth them light,
Mm-hmm.
and they shall reign forever and ever. Right.
So the question is this the Father's kingdom? Yeah, this is Father's kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm trying to see like what gender that question. Show me pure life, clear as crystal, see down the throne of God and the Lamb. In the midst of the street of it on the other side, rivers for a man free, and you're not free every month. near the tree and the nations. And there should be no more curse. Yeah. The throne of God, the Lamb shall be in it, and the servant shall serve him. Yeah. Oh, okay, so I can see that, but the throne of God of the Lamb shall be in it, and his servant shall serve him. They shall see his face, and his name shall be in their forehead. There shall be no light there, and they need no candle, neither light of the sun, for the Lord God give them light, they shall reign forever. Never be said these things faithful and true. All the prophets and the angels shall serve the things which must shortly be done. Let's see here. Yeah, it can be. You know, like with Revelation, it'll switch channels on you. You can be watching one thing, and it'll flip over to something else. But it can also be double to it. I want to say yeah, though. I want to say it is the Father King, but I'm gonna leave that alone right now. I'm leaning more toward it. I'm leaning more toward it is being the Father's kingdom, but I just need to know what was said to be able to give a clear answer on it. Like, what gendered the question? I removed them. Oh, it was said it was Father's kingdom? Yeah, well, like in Revelation 21, you go into it. I mean, we walk into the Father's kingdom in Revelation 21. That's one thing we do, and where it's saying, John saw the holy city, verse 2, New Jerusalem coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride. So we know that's the Father's kingdom right there. But then it says, same thing in Revelation 22 and verse 23. Read that for me. We'll read 22. 21 and 22. Verse 21, chapter 21, verse 22.
Oh. And the 12 gates were 12 pearls. Every servant of it, yeah.
21 and 22.
You said 21?
21 and 22.
Oh, yeah. And I saw no temple therein, for the Lord God Almighty and the Lamb are the temple of it.
Right, so now, right here we know we got it's the Father and the Son here. That's why it's saying, I saw no temple therein, for the Lord God Almighty and the Lamb are the temple of it. So you got the Father and the Son right here in New Jerusalem, right? And the city had no need of the sun or the moon to shine in it, for the glory of God did light it, and the Lamb is the light thereof. And the nations of them which are saved shall walk in the light of it. So that's the Father and the Son right here. And then in 22, it don't really switch up right here. But it seems like it may be, because if you think about it, in verse 2 it says, 22 and 1, it says, he showed me a pure river of water of life. So in other words, we got everlasting life right here. You know, it's when everlasting life, come in, because we're trying to get back to that. We're trying to get back to this everlasting life, right? So we see a pure water, a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of God and of the Lamb. So we got two right here also. In the midst of the street of it, and on either side of the river was there the tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruit, and did what?
And yield her fruit every month.
Mm-hmm.
And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nation.
Right. So now you got these 12 trees with these fruits on it, which is for the healing of the nations, right?
And there shall be no more curse.
But notice what he said right here. He said there ain't gonna be no more curse though. See, what's the curse? Death, right? Sickness, death. That's the curse. Right here it tells you ain't gonna be no more curse. Now we know in the Father's kingdom there won't be no more curse. That's why Revelation 21, around verse 3, it tells you ain't gonna be no more death, ain't gonna be no more crying. I think around verse 4, 21 and 4, he said gonna wipe away all the tears from their eyes, there should be no more death. That's the curse. Neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, because the former things are passed away. Then he tells you Revelation 22 and 3, there should be no more curse. See, all that come with the curse. But right before that, we see that there's a tree of life which bear 12 manner of fruits, and it's for the healing of the nations, and there should be no more curse. You see, so that leads me to believe that we in the Father's kingdom in this particular scripture here. So, all right, so now let's go over to Leviticus chapter 21. Leviticus chapter 21. I know it's hard to believe, but it's in here. It is in here. Leviticus chapter 21. Leviticus 21. Leviticus chapter 21. And we're going to pick this up at verse 1. This question is regarding, like I said earlier in class today, the Lord, if you had a humpback, you was a dwarf, the Lord didn't want you, being in that office, that priest office. Like, he considered that a blemish. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, God, it ain't that God don't like you. He don't love you because you have this ailment or something like that. Like, God ain't tripping on that. He ain't say you can't get salvation. He just said don't do that job. You see, that's the difference. So, Leviticus, I mean, hey, you go to some jobs, they have those requirements, don't they? Don't they? You can't be retarded, trying to work the cash register. You know what I'm saying? Like, just think about it. So God got his stipulations, man. But everybody just look at God in a different way, though. You know what I'm saying? Like God just don't have feelings. Like, he don't look at people like, oh man, hey, you can't do this. We're gonna have to put you. You know how they have some people work at the different stores and they have different ailments and stuff, maybe like the greeters, or they have to fulfill a certain amount of disabled and stuff like that. But they ain't first choice, are they? They ain't first choice.
I was gonna say, like, maybe his reasoning behind that, could be like, as it may cause a distraction to the congregation or something, that they're so focused, like, on staring on his missing arm or something like that.
Yeah.
That they're not hearing what he's actually saying.
Yeah, I mean that's absolutely. We're gonna read it, but I mean, it just makes sense though.
Yeah.
But but we won't do opinions here. But I'm just saying just in society today, you can't get past somebody like the dude that played for Central Florida a few weeks ago, when they played against Auburn in Atlanta. He good, boy, dude, good. Couldn't get by his fight. He got one hand, knocking it down. Knock it down. We couldn't get like that. That was a story, man. Like, hey, man, that dude, that good, boy. He got one hand. He all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Like, look it up. You'll see. But people can't get past that. Like, he got ESPN. They put an ESPN 10-minute special on this guy because he got one hand doing what he do. He good, but if he ain't had one hand, then just be normal.
Right.
You see, people can't get past those things. So when it comes to preaching the word, man, hey, they're gonna have problems getting past a crook back. Somebody got a humpback and he's short, like they're gonna be laughing at him. Y'all don't act righteous. Y'all know how to do that. Y'all know you call them midgets. We had a midget back in the day when I was in school. He was so short and he was so bold. We called him bow-legged Al. He was like this here tall, man, but he was strong as all get up. I wouldn't mess with him. Revelation 21 verse 1. Read that, man.
And the Lord said unto Moses, speak unto the priests, the sons of Aaron, and say unto them, there shall none be defiled for the dead among his people. Okay, so I just want to show who we talking to. Skip down to verse 16. We're talking to Aaron and his sons, and this is dealing with the priesthood. All right, keep reading, verse 16. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto Aaron, saying, whosoever he be of thy seed in their generations that have any blemish, let him not approach to offer the bread of his God. Right, so don't let him do that. Like anyone that got a blemish, don't let him offer up the bread of his God. Go ahead and read it, bro. What did it say, verse 18? For whatsoever man he be that hath a blemish, he shall not approach a blind man or a lame. He said, for whatsoever man he be that have a blemish, he shall not approach a blind man or a lame, meaning he can't walk, right? What else? Or he that hath a flat nose or anything superfluous. Anything like that shows up with that outer appearance that's gonna get you to
me and Jediah, we was doing something a few months ago. I can't remember what it was, man. And he was explaining this, and we was talking about how God don't like, certain people to do certain things, and I was laughing, man. He was like my son, he can't be a priest. And I was like, oh man. But what happened was he had surgery. So little Sammy had surgery, but we see him all the time. I don't pay attention to them. It just looked like he had surgery and they fixed it. You know what I'm saying? But it's in the Bible. And I didn't pay that attention to it. Jediah had said something one evening. We was dealing with this. But he said, this is what God has given you. He said, whatsoever man he that hath a blemish, he shall not approach a blind man or a lame, or he that have a flat nose, or anything superfluous. You know what I'm saying? Like this is God talking, man. God, like I say, it ain't that he don't love you. He just want he's very particular. Like, listen, y'all all particular about certain things. You particular about how you want your house, particular about how you want your car cleaned up, particular how you want your clothes and stuff like that. God is, where do you think you get it from? God is the same exact way. What else he say? Verse 19.
Or a man that is broken-footed or broken-handed.
Right, so you can't be doing this with a broken foot or broken hand. It might heal up, but don't do this. You stay out the way, man. What else?
Or crook back.
A crook back. I know crook back is right. That's a hump back. You don't want you doing it with a crook back. What else?
Or a dwarf.
Or a dwarf. Some of y'all just gonna make it. You don't want no dwarfs. He say what? A crook back or a dwarf or what else?
Or that has a blemish.
Or that have a blemish what?
In his eye. Or scurvy.
Right, I think that's like a skin disease or something like that. Yeah, scurvy, yeah. So you can't have that, man. You can't be up here with chicken pox. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to work for God. You better go home. We'll catch you next week, man. He said no scurvy or what else?
Oh man.
Or a scab.
Or has his stones broken.
Right. Stone broken. Just talking about it's private area. So,
broken?
Yeah, that's what it say. I don't know what he's talking about though. It says stone broken.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I look into that.
ED.
Huh?
ED, bro. Erectile dysfunction.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't read that. Yeah, so I don't know. It just leaves me to guessing. So I don't know. It might be talking about some other stones, but I don't know. Anytime you see stones in the Bible, because he usually be talking about that, So I don't know how to be broken. I mean, I don't know. Maybe got hurt or something like that. Like I don't know. I have no idea. But you can't be a crookback. Can't be a dwarf. He that have a blemish in his eye. Can't be nothing wrong with your eye. Oh God! I just thought about somebody being cross-eyed.
That's tough, man.
Oh man. Man, I didn't write this, man.
No, I ain't talking about thoughts that I got in my head.
He said a blemish in his house, it would be scurvy or scab. We'll have his stones broken. What else? Verse 21.
No man that hath a blemish of the seed of Aaron, the priest, shall come nigh to offer the offering of the Lord made by fire.
So they couldn't do that, man. They couldn't offer up the offerings to the Lord, man. I'm talking about the priesthood. The Lord say, no man with a blemish, they cannot do it. No man that have a blemish of the seed of Aaron, the priest shall come nigh to offer the offering of the Lord made by fire. He what?
He has a blemish. He shall not come nigh to offer the bread of his God.
Right, because see, the Lord want his people looking a certain way. Like you take it outside of just the priesthood. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like I'm saying today. Even though I ain't too big on the suits and all that type of stuff. Like I'm having a problem. I don't want to go get a suit for y'all wedding.
That's right.
I can wear a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I get it. I'll be all right. But I'm just saying, I just don't like that preacher thing because of the way they live, and it just makes us look so bad. So like I said, I try to look completely opposite of them. But God, He still wants you to be a certain way. Like you don't have to be stinky. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to be dirty. Because we still represent God, though, you know what I'm saying? And you represent God and you ain't maintaining yourself, man, how you gonna preach the word? People, superfluous. People really focus on things on the outside. And they have a hard time getting past it. So, like, God wants you to be, he wants you to look presentable. You know what I'm saying? We ain't saying go out there and buy all that stuff, but be clean, So he says, he should not come now to offer the bread of his God. Read 22.
He shall eat the bread of his God, he shall eat the bread of his God, both of the most holy and of the holy.
Right, so you're not going to offer it up. Don't bring me that bread. If it come from somebody that got one of these ailments on them, they can't offer no bread to me. Y'all can eat your bread. Don't bring it up to me. That's what he say, right? He say he shall eat the bread of his God. Both of the most holy, in other words, the bread that's offered in the most holy part of the tabernacle, because they will offer bread on the other side of the tabernacle. Like, for instance, I don't know if y'all understand how it goes, but it's kind of like this right here. It's kind of like this. Oh, those don't close. Well, just imagine this curtain being shut, right? Imagine that curtain being shut. The priests every day, they would make offerings on this side of the veil every day for the sins of the people. Once a year on the Day of Atonement, they go behind the veil. That's considered the most holy place where God himself would, dwell at. So they go behind that place right there and offer up a sacrifice for themselves and for the people once a year on the Day of Atonement. So what it's saying right here in verse 22, he said he shall eat the bread of his God, both of the most holy. In other words, the bread that's offered on the other side once a year. He gonna eat that bread and of the holy, the bread that's offered up every day. He gonna eat it himself. He not gonna offer that up to God. Verse 23, what it say?
Only he shall not go in unto the veil, nor come unto the altar, because he has a blemish.
Right, so he said he can't come into the veil. Now when he say come into the veil, like I was saying earlier, when he say come into the veil, remember I said they went behind the veil once a year, right? Because that's represent where God was at. He said, we just read that again. What it say? He should not do what?
He shall not go in unto the veil.
So God is saying this guy with this blemish and all this, he better not come behind that veil. Go ahead and read, man. What is it?
Nor come not unto the altar.
He saying he better not come near the altar either. Why?
Because he has a blemish.
Because he got a blemish. That answer your question? Say because he got a blemish, man. He said and what else he said?
That he profane not my sanctuary.
He said that don't let him come back there so he don't profane my sanctuary.
Yeah.
Go ahead and read, bro.
For I, the Lord, do testify them.
No, for I, the Lord, do sanctify.
Oh yeah, I do the
He said, so don't have him come back there. He can't. No, I don't want him profaning my sanctuary, man. So that's what God said, man. So.
Just in regards to that, the people that are born with these physical ailments, God created them that way.
Yeah.
So it's like he had a different plan for them almost,
Well, we talking about the priesthood, though.
Oh, okay.
Or dealing with this office of priest, preaching God. Because I mean, like I say, just I don't like to deal with common sense too much, but I just kind of look at what happens around here in the world today. It's almost like it's almost hard to, we do people so bad that we got to have a thing called Special Olympics. Because for special people that don't look right? They're kind of funny looking, you know what I'm saying? And just imagine the people that you see on that show called Was Born This Way trying to preach. I saw that show on TLC. These little short people, like imagine them trying to preach. Like how you gonna get past that? You know what I'm saying? So just dealing with, the society we in today, I can understand why, but he told you why. He said because they're gonna profane, I sanctified them, and I don't want them doing it. So he just listed who it is, crookback, dwarfs, and all that type of stuff. I don't want them flat nose, scurvy, stones broken hand, broken foot. No, it's almost like he wants you to be like him, a lamb without blemish.
Lamb without blemish.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like when he got offered up, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, as a sacrifice. So just imagine if you working in the priest's office, you know what I'm saying? And Jesus himself, the lamb without blemish, like you probably want everything to be almost completely perfect. You know what I'm saying? So So these things, these are just opinions that I have when I think about it. So,
Isn't it like the red heifer without blemish, the cow without blemish?
say it again.
Like the red heifer, like the cow without blemish.
Uh-huh.
I'm saying like it's kind of like symbolizing.
Yeah, it was purification. Yeah, they looking for that purification.
Right, but I'm saying like how the Lord didn't want nobody with blemishes behind the veil.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of like, and how he was a lamb without blemish.
Right.
The red heifer was a cow without blemish. You know what I'm saying?
What red heifer? The one they're trying to get down.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to get right. Like I said, purification. They
Right,
want one without anything under purification. But yeah, that's meat. That's meat.
Yeah, that's me.
That's meat. I'm gonna choke nobody. So it said the Father's kingdom will have servants. Well, Jesus' kingdom got servants. That's why I tell you in Revelation 20 that we're gonna be priests of God. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna be working for the God at that time. We'll never be on the plateau of taking the place of God. You know, that's why you got the Most High God. But somebody on here, it says, I did a lesson on marriage and a question came up. If your husband in jail for life, are you still supposed to honor the marriage? What's the answer?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Make a covenant.
You better go listen.
You made a covenant. And no, you can't go sleep around and go get it to somebody else. Like, you made a covenant. You made a covenant that you're going to be with him. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Go to Romans chapter 7. Yeah, you're in the thing for life, man. Like, yeah, you ain't just, no, you don't just, that's your husband. Likewise, like your wife. You ain't going to leave behind you. But you don't have, like a woman, she don't got that freedom just to bounce. You know, like, well, you're in jail, man. I'll let you, I just can't hold it together. You know, I can't do it. Nah, he alive, he in jail. You know, you never know what the Lord work out. Lord, okay, they may give him life, but hey, you know, God is God, man. Lord may make a way and get him out of there. Romans chapter 7. We're going to pick this up at verse 1. Romans chapter 7. Read verse 1. What does it say?
Know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law, how that the law has dominion over the men as long as he liveth.
All right, so how the law has dominion over a man as long as he lives. For what?
For the woman which has an husband is bound by the law to her husband so long as he liveth.
Right, so it say for what? For the woman is bound by the law to her husband so long as he lives. I understand what society said and what God said. Like, I mean, you get in the truth and you understand things and you do better, you know, but mainly in this society that we have, they don't go by God's law, you know. And that's why, and that's Satan, man. Like, you know, God is for marriage. God is pro marriage. You know what I'm saying? He tell you in Jeremiah 3, he hate putting it. The Lord hate divorce. He don't like that. You know what I'm saying? But the world, you know, they on something else. They speak, Satan speaks completely opposite of God. But he says, for the woman which hath an husband is bound by the law to her husband so long as he lives. Go ahead and read.
But if the husband be dead,
But if this husband dies, what?
she is loose from the law of her husband.
Right, so listen, so if her husband is dead, she is loose from the law of her husband. Now she can go get another husband. Until then, she got to stay. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why you just work it out, man. Work it out, figure it out. Just work it out. But you know, she can't, that's why we saw earlier the importance of a father, you know what I'm saying? And then how, like, you don't just take sisters lightly when it comes to this. You got to realize how important this is because this marriage is to death, you know. So it says here, what? For if her husband be dead, she is loose from the law of her husband. Verse 3.
So then, if while her husband liveth, she be married to another man, she will be called an adulteress.
Oh, so notice what it says. Now, so even though this husband in jail, if he's alive, you know, she's still married to him. Now, if she decide to go get another husband, while he is alive, it says what? She shall be called an adulteress. So if he's alive, you know, he in jail, she decided to go marry somebody else, she's considered an adulteress. So in other words, she can go marry somebody else all she wants to. In God's eyes, that marriage ain't good. You know, it's really like a marriage that's nothing but adultery going on. Because the Lord ain't honoring it. He said, she shall be called an adulteress. What else?
But if her husband be dead,
Right, not in jail.
be dead.
Right, not life. You know what I'm saying? Not on death row. It said, but if her husband be dead, what?
She is free from the law, so that she is
right. She is free from that law. What?
So that she is now, is no adultery. Through she be married to another man.
Right. Though she be married to another man. Right. So she won't be considered an adulteress if her husband dead. She gonna get another husband. If her husband dies, she gonna marry somebody else. Then she cool, because her husband's dead. So they won't be looking at her like an adulteress. But if he's alive, then that's what she gonna be considered. Go to Matthew chapter 5. Matthew chapter 5. And I forgot about you, man. What time they kick y'all out here?
They've never
They'll never kick y'all out? Okay, cool. Yeah, that's how we used to do in Atlanta. We was in a hotel. We used to stay in there. Nobody bothered us. You know what I'm saying? They never said nothing to us, man. We had it till 6 o'clock, but sometimes we stayed to sundown, 8 o'clock, man. They won't say nothing. We was paying a killing over there. Oh my goodness. They was hitting us. They was hitting us over there.
Is that Matthew chapter 5?
Yeah, Matthew 5. Matthew 5, and we're going to pick it up at, look at verse 32.
Wow.
Well, 31, I'm sorry. Too close. Matthew 5, 31.
It has been said, whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorcement.
Mm-hmm.
But I say unto you that whosoever shall put away his wife, saying for the cause of fornication.
Now what happened here? Now this is Jesus talking. Jesus get ready to come reverse what Moses did, because first off, like I told you, you know, Moses was in the position of Jesus at that time. You know what I'm saying? Not that he was Jesus, but what you saw Moses doing, how he was an intercessor for the people at the time. You know what I'm saying? How the Lord used him to deliver the children of Israel. Moses went up on the mountain and talked to God. You know what I'm saying? He was the intercessor for Israel at that time. That was an example for Jesus. Because who your intercessor now?
Jesus.
Jesus your intercessor. Who gonna do the delivering this time?
Jesus.
Not Moses. Jesus gonna do it this time. But all that stuff was pointing to Jesus back then when Moses was here. All right, but Jesus now himself, the one who gave Moses the law in Leviticus, is now in the flesh letting you know. He said it had been said, whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorcement. Right? And that's what was said in the Old Testament. Moses had them put that law down. You know, just give her, you know, because they was putting her away for anything. You know, if the breath stank, I don't want to be married. You know what I'm saying? Your hair's a mess. Go, you can't do this. You know what I'm saying? For anything, they was putting her away. So Moses wrote them a bill, made them write a bill of divorcement to her to let her go. So now Jesus is coming and saying, he said, it had been said, whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her right of divorcement. But I say unto you that what?
But whosoever shall put away his wife, saving for the cause of fornication.
Except for fornication. Now, whosoever shall put away his wife, except for fornication, what?
Cause her to commit adultery.
Right, so you put your wife away, she ain't did nothing wrong now. You know, you put her away. Now, if she commit fornication, you put her away, okay, God give you that freedom to let her go. But it says she ain't did nothing wrong, you don't put her away. Now, you going to cause her to commit adultery. See, it's going to be on the man at this time. It's not going to be on the woman, because you have no business putting her away in the first place. He said, well, you cause her to commit adultery, and what else?
And whosoever shall marry her, that is divorce, committer.
Right. So sometimes, let me explain something to y'all. When y'all read some of these words, when you see the ETHs on the end, that's how it's translated. All right. So when you see committeth, In our time, do we walk around saying committed?
Nah, I was trying to say.
We say what? You did what? You commit adultery, right? So like I say, it's just been translated, and they put the extra things on the back of it. Transgressive, it's transgress, okay? We ain't changing the word. That's just, in our language today, the eth just gets silent. Transgress the law. I don't say transgressive. So it helps you to read it a little better. Whatever worked for you though. But it say, I say to you that whosoever shall put away his wife, save him for the cause of fornication, calls her to commit adultery. See how smooth that was?
Mm-hmm.
It calls her to commit adultery. And whosoever shall marry her that is divorced, do what?
Commit adultery.
Commit adultery. So it's not legal. What's gonna make it legal is if that man died. You see. So brother Nashan, I hope that answers the question on that. Back to in-house.
He asked me the other night and I didn't know how to answer. That God is watching and protecting us. And he wanted to know, how can God watch everybody if he only has 2 eyes?
That's a smart question. You got angels that do it.
Good.
Yeah.
Listen. Did you hear
Let's go to Hebrews chapter 1.
it?
Yeah, let's go to Hebrews chapter 1. Yeah, that's what we was looking at earlier. God has angels that report to him. You see what I'm saying? Like people like to say God is omnipresent. You can't read that nowhere in the Bible. God is omnipotent, but he ain't omnipresent. That makes it like God is everywhere. Come on, man. God sit on the throne. And he got angels that move on his behalf. And they come report to God. That's what they do. But the Bible says you got an innumerable amount of angels. All right? So Hebrews chapter 1. Pick it up at start at verse 7.
And the angels, he said, who make his angels spirits, and his ministers a flame of fire.
Right. So the question is, you start Hebrews 1 down to verse 7. Just talking about, the Lord has never said to an angel, sit on my right hand till I make your enemies your footstool. He told that to God. He told that to Jesus himself. So right here, he said, and of the angels, speaking of the angels, he said, who make his angels spirits and his ministers a flame of fire. That's why when Moses was in the wilderness, at Mount Sinai, he had, he heard something coming out that burning bush. And it tell you that it was an angel that was there. Then it tell you that the Lord spoke to Moses. But it wasn't the Lord himself that was down. It was the Lord speaking through the angel. See, the angel came with a message, you see. And that's what's going on now today. See, a lot of people don't see it, man. See, you can't see in the spiritual realm. But, just think about a spiritual realm. We ain't talking about something spooky. Oh, God, we can never test that. No, you got angels around this place. And it's innumerable. And that's why I said earlier, that's why you ain't dead. Because God got them hedges around you. He removed them hedges, man. It's over with.
Yeah, me and Julius was just talking about that for my situation I'm going through and everything. We're talking about how to correlate spiritual warfare with physical actions that you can see. And, he was breaking it down for me that, there's angels and demons surrounding us all the time playing tug of war for our souls.
Right. Well, I mean, I don't know if they're playing tug of war.
Well,
but yeah. I mean, because you got that choice, man. You got Satan now. You tell me go do this, go do that. You got the angel telling you, no, I don't want to do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you making that choice,
Yeah,
but they definitely there.
And before, when it wouldn't even if I was to do something bad, I wouldn't think about it, sleep like a baby and everything. Now, just the thought of it gives me the conviction.
Yeah. Right. Well, that's what the Bible tells you. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then it also tells you in Psalm 34, the angel of the Lord encamped round about them that fear him and keep his commandments. You see what I'm saying? So when you fear God, he gonna keep them angels around you, man. He gonna protect you. But we're gonna see that also. But that's what they do, man. That's why it tells you about spiritual wickedness in high places. We ain't talking about men, we ain't talking about Creflo, even though he wicked as hell. We talking about these angels that you can't see behind the scenes. You see what I'm saying? We talking about some spiritual beings that's behind the scenes causing death. Somebody gets shot down, somebody gets shot, some accident, somebody gets stabbed. Man, them angels back there causing that. Right. But see, it be God the one that allowed the angel to move, though. See, they can't move on their own. If they move on their own, they'll take this whole creation out. But they work for God. So God will let them know, hey, that's why he tell you. He said, I the Lord, he said, I create peace, I create evil. I kill, I make alive. I the Lord do all these things. You see what I'm saying? You know, so people like to say, well, the devil is, the devil, oh God, the devil's here, I'm stepping on the devil's head. Your problem ain't Satan. Your problem is you disobeying God, and the Lord would allow Satan to hit you. You see? That's what people don't understand. Not to say that Satan ain't the problem, because he is. He wants you to fall. You know? But at the same time, it's behind the scenes that we don't see. You know, it's behind, it ain't just the flesh and blood. Like it can happen with just, you know, it can happen with, matter of fact, the good example I give, when I got baptized without walls in Tampa, Florida. I went down that water and I came up with devil. I'm about to tell you, I got worse, man. I went completely nuts. You know what I'm saying? But hey, that's what happened when you deal with false doctrine first. You know what I'm saying? I got, man. But he said, and of the angels, he say, who make his angels spirits and his ministers a flame of fire. Ministers talking about a servant. So he make his angels spirits and they flames of fire. You know, they can come in that form. They can move around like that, right? But skip down to verse 13 and read that.
But to which of the angels said he at any time, sit on my right hand until I make thy enemies thy footstool.
Right, so he never said that to any of the angels. That's for people that try to worship angels. You know, the Lord never said that to an angel. Sit on my right hand until I make your enemies your footstool. But notice what he said.
And they're not all, are they not all ministering spirits sent forth to minister for them who shall be heirs of salvation?
And I notice what he said about the angels. He said, are not they all ministering spirits? Talking about their servants. They ministering spirits sent forth to minister to those who shall be heirs of salvation. I see, that's what the holy angels do. They're going to sit around, they watching, they're around you, keeping you and protecting you, especially for the ones that's going to get the kingdom. That's, you know what I'm saying, that's going to inherit this kingdom. These angels around, you know. They're around, we just don't see them. But that's like sometimes you can be dealing with, like, friends, how do you think you got here, bro?
How I got where?
How you think you came here?
Because of his personal situation that I'm going
No.
through.
But I'm saying, like that wasn't your choice, though. That wasn't your choice. Yeah. Like the Lord be setting this stuff up in the background. You see what I'm saying? Right. Next thing you know, you're running to him out of nowhere. Now you're sitting in church. Like now you're getting the word.
Right.
But see, the Lord behind the scenes, the angels be making this stuff work. You see what I'm saying? Look at Acts chapter 10. I'm gonna give you another example. Acts chapter 10. Yeah, pick it up at verse 1.
There was a certain man in Syria called Cornelius.
All right, so a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius. Go ahead.
And a certain Syrian of the band called the Italian band. A devout man, and one that feared God with all his house, which gave much alms to the people and prayed to God always.
Right. So Cornelius was a Gentile, which was a white man, right? He gave much alms to the people. The people is Israel. All right. So he always helped out the Israelites, even though he didn't know God and nothing like that. It said he feared God always, and he always gave alms to the people, right? So because of that, God saw this and remembered him. Go ahead and read.
He saw in a vision, evidently about the ninth hour of the day, an angel of God coming into him and saying unto him, Cornelius. And when he looked,
who came unto him?
Oh, an angel.
An angel came and talked to Cornelius, right?
Correct.
It says he saw the vision evidently about the ninth hour of the day, an angel of God coming in unto him, talking about coming in, into Cornelius, coming to talk to Cornelius, and what?
And when he looked on him, he was afraid. And said, "What is that, Lord?
What is it, Lord?
What is it, Lord?" And he said unto him, "Thy prayers and thy are come up for a memorial before God. Yeah, memorial before God. And now and now send men to
Joppa.
Joppa.
Right. So now, notice what the Lord is saying to notice what the angel is saying to Cornelius. He's telling him to go to Joppa, right? Send men to Joppa to go get Peter. But the angel is telling him this to go find Peter, and he gonna let him know that he gonna tell you what you need to do. In other words, he gonna tell you what you need to do to be saved, right? All right, so go to Acts chapter 11. He gonna go get Peter. Y'all read this on your own, because I ain't trying to go all this. That's a lot. The gist of this right here is that Cornelius wanted to get salvation. All right, the salvation wasn't open up to the Gentiles at this time. All right, Jesus had just died recently. You know what I'm saying? Now the Lord is getting ready to use Peter to bring the gospel to the nations now, the other nations. And what then happened is now this angel that came down to Cornelius and told him, all right, man, all that you doing, you helping out the people, your arms going up before God, you fearing God. Hey, listen, go find Peter. He gonna tell you what you need to do. All right, he go get Peter. While Peter's waiting on, waiting to get something to eat, a vision came down to Peter, and the Lord showed him, these animals and a sheep. And the vision told Peter, said, rise, Peter, kill and eat. 3 times. And Peter said, nah, so Lord, I've never eaten anything common or unclean, because it was all different type of beasts inside the sheep. And Peter said, I never ate anything common or unclean, right? So the Lord told him, what I've called clean, call not the uncommon. So anyway, and then, the angel told him, when the men came to get Peter, they told Peter, go with him, don't doubt nothing, just go with them. So he going with them the next day. He get over to Cornelius' house. When he get there, he see all these Gentiles there. And he knew at this time, he started talking to Cornelius. Cornelius told him, man, hey, I was at my house. The angel came and told me to send for you. Now I'm here. Now you here. And Peter said, now I understand that God was telling me don't call no man common or unclean. And at that point, that's when the salvation was opened up to the other nations, right? So now going to Acts chapter 11, and let's see what took place. Because now Peter got to go back and explain this to these Negroes. Because they like, nah, dude, you ain't finna be hanging with these Gentiles, man. So he rehearsing the matter on the way back to Jerusalem. And let's see what happened here. Acts chapter 11. This is why I say you ain't just here by chance. God knows what he's doing, but the angels be behind the scene working it. We're still dealing with the question, showing you how the angels are the ones that's making things happen. Acts chapter 11, and pick it up at verse, start at verse 10. Now I'm gonna show you what Peter said. He rehearsed this. Start at Acts 11, verse 1.
And the apostles and the apostles and brethren that were in Judea heard that the Gentiles had also received the word of God. And when Peter was come up to Jerusalem, they that were of the circumcision contested with him.
Now you see what's going on, right? Y'all see what's going on, right?
That they were.
It says in verse 1. It says, and the apostles and the brethren that were in Judea heard that the Gentiles had also received the word of God, right? So they know about this, and Peter's on the way back, right? And it says in verse 2, and Peter was come up to Jerusalem that they were of the circumcision contended with him. They arguing with him. Because, like, dude, what you going over there to talk to them for? Why you hey, they knew back then the Israelites didn't deal with nobody else, right? So he going back up, what it say, verse 3?
Saying, thou wentest into men uncircumcised.
He said, you went into men uncircumcised, right?
And did it eat with them?
So they tripping on him. He said, you went into men uncircumcised and did eat with them. But it says what in verse 4?
But Peter rehearsed the matter from the beginning.
Keep reading.
And expounded it by order unto them, saying.
Right. So what he gonna do right here? Now he finna explain to them what happened, how he saw the vision and everything, how the vision came down to Cornelius, right? But the point is showing you what? Read verse 13. Because he explained it to them, man. This is why I went there. So what is that, verse 13?
And he showed on.
No, read 12. I'm sorry, 12.
And the Spirit bade, and the Spirit bade me go with him, nothing doubting.
So he's saying here, he said the Spirit bade me, or the angel. That's another word for spirit or angel. He said the Spirit bade. Remember, he said he make his angels spirits and his ministers a flame of fire. You see? So he says what? The Spirit bade me go with them, or the angel told him to go with them, nothing doubting. Then he said, moreover, these 6 brethren accompanied me, and we entered into the man's house. And he showed me what?
And he showed us how he had seen an angel in his house, which stood and said unto him, send men to Joppa, and call for Simon.
Right, so he explaining that Peter had, that Cornelius had, told him what happened, that the angel told him to send men to Joppa and call for Peter, right? And he said what? What did it say? 14?
Who shall tell thee words, whereby thou and all thy house shall be saved.
Now pay attention. That's why I say you ain't here by mistake, right? The angel, now this is what Peter rehearsed. Peter's telling them, listen, man, Cornelius sent for me, and the reason why I went there because the angel told Cornelius to come get me, because I would tell you words that you need to be saved. That's why he says here, who shall tell thee words whereby thou and all thy house shall be saved. But who was behind the scenes working this? The angels are the ones that set this up. You see, the angel came down and told Cornelius, go get Peter. Angel came to Peter when he was on the house. He was tired, and the vision came down in front of Peter. He ain't know what it was. The angel told him what it was. Then when they came to get Peter, angel told him, hey, don't worry about it. Just go with them. Don't doubt nothing. You see? But the angels are the ones that's behind the scenes that set all this stuff up. Now let's go to Hebrews chapter 12. Hebrews chapter 12. Because I'm just showing you that these angels, like you don't see these angels, but they on the job, man. You just can't see them. Now some of you might see. That's why the Bible tells you beware when you entertain strangers, you might be entertaining angels. See, these angels right here, the holy angels that didn't get cast out, they can turn. They can turn into the form of a man. But the evil angels, they can't.
Can I ask, do you know the book and chapter of the story of when Jesus talked to the guy and he was like, when I was cold, you didn't give me your coat,
Yeah, I put it on Facebook the other day.
Yeah, I wanted to write that down.
Yeah, I put it on Facebook. Yeah. All right, so Hebrews 12.
Oh, but not really. Just
Hebrews 12. And pick it up at start at verse 21. Hebrews 12, verse 21.
And so terrible was the sight.
That camera right there, brother.
And so terrible was the sight that Moses said, I exceedingly fear and quake.
Go ahead, verse 22.
But ye are come unto Mount Zion.
Notice what it says. It said, well, you will come unto Mount Zion, what?
And unto the city of the living God, the heavenly Jerusalem.
So it said, you will come unto the Mount Zion, and into the city of the living God, the heavenly Jerusalem, which is going to be on this earth. To what?
And to an innumerable company of angels.
Notice what he said. He said what? To an innumerable company of angels. Like you can't hear so many angels, you can't even number them. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of angels around here. Go to Psalm chapter 34. They're all over the place. Psalm chapter 34.
Can I get my time?
No, I just put my finger. No. I don't care. I gotta charge my phone. I'm in class. You ain't working class. Psalm 34. Yeah, I just need the adapter. Psalm 34. Yep, Psalm 34, pick it up at verse 7. Read that part.
The angel of God, the angel of the Lord encamp round about them.
What did it say? The angel of the Lord do what?
encamp.
Encamp now. So we got the angel of the Lord doing, surrounding. That's what it means by encamp. He said the angel of the Lord encamp round about them. What?
That feared him and delivered them.
And delivered them. The angel of the Lord is the one that's around us. The angel of the Lord is the one that do the, matter of fact, the angel of the Lord is the one that do the reporting to God. You know what I'm saying? God ain't everywhere, walking around. No, he sit on the throne. He have his angels go do the work. All right? Nah, he don't do that. King, man. He sitting on the throne. What are you gonna move around for? Like our angels, they gonna do this. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do. Like, you tell me that's how they do it. That's why. Look at Job chapter 1. No, notice what it's saying in Job 1. Job chapter 1.
Oh, the angels came around.
Yeah, Job chapter 1. Job chapter 1. Job chapter 1. And pick it up at verse 6.
Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord.
Right, so in this case, right, we just talking about the angels. It said, now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord.
And Satan came also.
Right, but he ain't considered the son of God anymore. He got cast out.
That's why I say, and Satan.
Right, that's why I say Satan. But these are angels that showed up before the Lord. That's how they do, man. They come to God. God don't go to them. God don't move around the earth like that. God sit on the throne. The angels come tell him what's going on. Matter of fact, go to Zechariah chapter 6. No, Revelation. It's another one. It's the 7 eyes in Zechariah. We'll look at that. But Revelation 3. You know what? Just read. Go to 5. Revelation 5. It's more clear right here. It's right to the point. I was gonna read 3, then go to 5. But let's just go to 5. Revelation 5. Revelation chapter 5, and pick it up at start at verse 5. And this is when John was on the Isle of Patmos and the Lord showing him his vision. Basically, what's gonna take place during our time, and he showed us some things that also took place before. But let's look at what's happening right now. This is when the seals are getting ready to be open. When the Lord is getting ready to open up these seals during the time of the Great Tribulation. All right, but go ahead.
And one of the elders said unto me, Weep not, behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, has prevailed to open the book.
That's right. Because when this Great Tribulation starts, it's like the Lord will open up a book, but not really a book. It's a vision that John has seen. But it's going to jump on the Great Tribulation. And Jesus is the one that got the power to actually do this, in other words. So it said, Weep not, behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, talking about Jesus. The root of David had prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof. What else?
And behold,
I beheld.
I beheld, and lo, in the midst of the throne and of the 4 beasts, and in the midst of the elders stood a lamb, as it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes.
Now notice what it says. He said, I beheld, right? And in the midst of the elders stood a lamb, as it had been slain, talking about Jesus. Remember, he was slain, right? A lamb as it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which what?
Which are the 7 spirits of God.
Which are the 7 spirits of God. The 7 angels of God, what?
Sent forth into all the earth.
Sent forth into all the earth. So you got these 7 particular ones that got this job that God has to send out throughout all the earth. They reporting to him what's going on with Russia. They report what's going on with China. They report what's going on with America. See, that's what they do. That's what these are the 7 spirits of God, and they come back to God. That's why I say here what? The 7 spirits of God or from God sent forth into all the earth. That's why he tell you in another place, the eyes of the Lord are upon the sinful kingdom. But is he actually doing it? He know what's going on, but they coming back and they let him know. They report to him. Now going to 2 Peter, I'm gonna show you the other aspect of it. Show you these evil angels and show you they hear them. 2 Peter, because this is how God sees everything with two eyes. He got other eyes. He make the angels do the work. They go around and they come back and report to him. That's what a boss do everywhere, don't he? Boss do that everywhere. You know, going to the call center. The boss ain't on the phone. You know what I'm saying? Who's on the phone? His employees on the phone, right? He in the office. Anything go down, whether from the employees down to the lead, down to the shift manager, down to the plant manager. You know what I'm saying? Everything, happens first before it get to the big man. They try to handle everything. Well, the angels don't do that. Though. They just come straight and tell them what's going on. See, they don't have that power to stop and try to fix it. Now, if God tell them to. But like in Exodus 24, the Lord told them, you better listen to him because my word is in him. My name is in him. He can't pardon your sin. Hey, whatever I tell him to do, that's what he going to do. He ain't finna sit there and bargain with you or none of that. But 1 Peter, I'm sorry, it might be 2 Peter. Trying to see which one it is. Second Peter chapter 2. Second Peter chapter 2. We're going to pick this up at verse 1. No. Did I say 1? Yeah. I say 1. That's 4. I think it's 4. With God's Spirit and angels.
Yeah. For God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell.
Now notice what it did. Though. He says, if God spared not the angels that sin, right?
But cast them down to hell.
So now, in this case right here, we're not talking about hell like the lake of fire. We're talking about earth. He cast them down to this earth. But you can't see him. But that's why when Eve was in the garden, hey, Satan was already there because he got cast down to the earth. So he said, if God spared not the angels that sinned, the angels sinned in the heavens. That's why they got kicked out. He said, but if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell and did what?
And delivered them into chains of darkness.
Oh, so they're in chains of darkness. Like you can't see them. The Lord got them bound by darkness. They're here though. But you can't see them. He got them in chains of darkness. Like they can't appear before you. They appear one of them appeared one time before Eve, and what happened? The whole creation getting cut off now. So now the Lord got them in chains of darkness. You can't see them. So he say what? He say, for if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell and delivered them into chains of darkness to do what?
To be reserved unto judgment.
Look at go to Jude right quick, right before Revelation. One more place, and then we'll open back up for questions. We need to get ready to close down. Jude. And it's only one verse right before Revelation. And we're gonna pick this up at verse 6. Go and read that.
Jude 1:6.
Mm-hmm.
And have made
Jude
us
1 and 6. Jude.
And the angels which kept not their first estate.
Because their first estate was heaven.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it was at. He said the angels which kept not their first estate, but did what?
But left their own habitation. He has reserved an everlasting chain under darkness until the judgment of the great day.
Right. So these angels here, they ain't changed the dark. Look at Revelation 12, just so we'll just clear up that they're on this earth. I don't want you thinking that. No, I said no, they're on earth. But they left their first estate, and now we're there. They ain't changed the dark. You just can't see them, but they here. All the killing that you see going on, all the accidents that you see, that be them angels. That's the evil angels. That's how they move. God allowed them to do it though. He don't send the holy angels to do it. The holy angels be protected. They be giving you that word. They be setting up plans so y'all can meet, so you can find out what you need to do to get saved. You see what I'm saying? Like that's what the holy angels they set, but the evil angels be there, ready to bring that destruction. You see? So Revelation chapter 12. Revelation chapter 12. Y'all don't call out verses up here. We've been teaching and we know what we're doing. We don't need y'all help unless I ask. Revelation chapter 12. How you know I want to go to 1?
Me too. The whole thing.
y'all gonna be up here one day. I'm gonna make sure of that. Start at verse 7.
And there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels.
So we talking about that's like I was saying earlier. You've been in the book of Revelation, and what'll happen is, it'll flip the script on you. It'll flip the script. You'll be talking about, the beast and the beast. Next thing you know, you jump into the kingdom. Or like for instance, right now, we talking about the end, we talk about the end of the world in Revelation 13, the Lord talk about the kingdom and he talk about the Gentile dynasty, how it's gonna be destroyed, mystery Babylon in Revelation 17. Then in Revelation 12, he jumped right back to what took place in the beginning. That's why he's saying there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, talking about Satan, and the dragon fought in his angels, and what else?
And prevailed not. Neither was their place found anymore in heaven.
Right, keep reading. So his name is the dragon, right? But remember now, there was a serpent that showed up to Eve in the garden, correct? So we're just going to see who this is. See, this serpent been around for a long time. But now the Lord is revealing to John on Isle of Patmos how it went down in the beginning. It says, and the dragon fought in his angels. So this is, Michael got his angels. Satan had his angels. They got into a fight. It said it prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. So the dragon got cast out. And what happened? Verse 9.
And the great dragon was cast out. That old serpent called the devil. And Satan.
Right. So the dragon, he was cast out, right? Now we see these are angels, right? That's why I said Michael and his angels fought. We also saw that there was some angels that was in chains of darkness, right? That got cast out to hell, correct? See, it wasn't 4 and 5 casting out. It was just one casting out. As far as the angels are concerned. So it says, that great dragon was cast out. That old serpent called the devil and Satan. What else?
Which deceived the whole world.
Which deceived the whole world. Keep reading.
He was cast out into the earth.
Wait a minute, he was cast out where?
Into the earth.
That's why I say he's in hell right now. You see? He was cast out into the earth. See, but he in chains of darkness. You can't see him. See, that's just the opposite side of showing you that the angels are everywhere. These particular, they just in chains, you just can't see them. But they got cast out into the earth. Anything outside of where God dwells at, sisters and brothers, that's hell.
So not only are the angels that were cast out of I know Satan was an angel, but Satan himself
got cast out.
It's on earth.
Yes. Yeah, and his angels. Yeah. You ever heard of evil spirits and demons and stuff? Yeah, that all comes with Satan. They got cast out. Now remember, it's an innumerable amount of angels. You can't even number.
Right.
So he took a third part of angels with him. So it's a lot of them down here. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, these same angels be reporting to God when you mess up. It's like they be waiting for you to mess up. They be like, hey, God, let me get at him. I'll be like, go get him. But see, people don't see that. They don't see all this stuff that's going on in there. By you not understanding this, by you not knowing this, then you just give credit to Satan. Or, why this happened to me, Lord? Or, man, God is controlling all of it. All of it. But when you understand and you realize that, God got, somebody checking you, making sure you're doing what you're supposed to do, then it make you straighten up and fly right.
Yeah, it's been just recently that I'm starting to have an easier time comprehending the spiritual warfare aspect of it because it's not tangible. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
You can't see it, but you can see somebody's actions in the physical form. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
You can. Yeah, cause you thinking to yourself like this ain't you, man. Like, why would you do this?
That's what I say.
I never know you to do this.
Right.
Man, I mean, man, it don't be Satan. It's an evil spirit. That's what it is. That done got to him. You see what I'm saying? And the best way you deal with that, you gotta pray. You gotta pray, and you gotta start getting yourself together. Because like the Bible tell you, the goodness of God brings a man to repentance. When you start changing, that's what's gonna change that other person. You understand what I'm saying? Like I'm a living witness to it, man. You know, you can't keep doing the same thing and thinking that it's gonna change your situation. Somebody gotta be the bigger person in the situation. You know, but it's just like somebody got to do the hurting. Somebody got to catch the hell, man.
I'm the hell.
Yeah, that's right, man. You got to go through the hell to save the family. You know, so, but right here we see that, you know, the great dragon, he was cast out. That old serpent called the devil and Satan, which to see the whole world. He was cast out to the earth. So he is on this earth. He's just in chains of darkness. You just can't see him, but he's here. But they all over the place. And that's how, you know, that's how they do it. The Lord is have his angels at work on the job. Yeah, they do the reporting to the Lord. It's another place in the scriptures where King Ahab, you know, he wanted to go up and take Ramoth Gilead. And by him not seeking God on it, you know, he went and asked his prophets. He went and asked all his prophets to, you know, should he go up and fight this one Ramoth Gilead? 400 some prophets told him, yeah, go up and get it, man. The Lord's gonna give you the city. And Jehoshaphat said, well, man, listen, I understand we family. Why don't you go get somebody that's going to give you a word from God, that's going to tell you the truth, man? He said, I you know, there is one that's going to give me a word from God, but I hate him. Because he always tell me stuff I don't want to hear. You know, you got all these 400 prophets, you know, scratching your itching ears, but you got this one man that's telling you, nah, man, don't go up and take Ramoth Gilead. So they went and got this brother out of jail. That's what we always do. When they got him out of jail, you know, they told him before he got there, they said, listen, man, all the prophets have agreed, you know, and told the king that he needed to go up and take Ramoth Gilead. So we need you to agree to it. And he was like, man, whatever the Lord tell me to say, that's what I'm going to say. So he get up there to the king. King Ahab asked him, what did the Lord tell you about me going up there? He was like, going up there, man. Basically, he's like, go up there. He's like, man, how many times I got to adjure you, man, to tell me the truth? He said, okay, well, you want to know the truth? He said, I did see Israel without a king. As sheep, you know, as sheep having no shepherd. Something pertaining to that. You know, Israel without a king, in other words. In other words, you know, the one who is the king over Israel, he's going to end up dead. You know, so they didn't want to listen to him. So as, I think his name was Kai, as he started explaining, he said, I did see Israel without a king, right? Then he goes and started explaining what happened. He said, you know, the Lord was sitting on his throne, and these angels came up to the Lord, and the Lord said, which one of you would be, you know, would mainly go to King Ahab and deceive him? And one of the angels said, I'll do it this way. Another angel said, I'll do it this way. Another angel said, I'm going to get him this way. And then another angel came and said, I'll be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And the Lord told the angel, he said, go ahead and do it. And he went and lied in the mouth of all his prophets. And guess what? Ahab went up there and got killed. Wow. See what I'm saying? See, it be them angels behind the scene that people don't see. You understand what I'm saying? They exist, just like you have the good ones watching out for you, protecting you and stuff like that. Then you have these evil ones on the other side waiting for God to give them permission to go and take you out if you do something wrong. You see, so hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helps. Let me see if we got anything else in the house.
I would ask if you could read about the plagues that the angels are going to bring for the tribulation.
Which one? Before the tribulation? Or during the tribulation.
Or like when like the water's drying up and stuff.
Yeah, we can look into that. That's a little too much right now because we about to close out. Yeah, ain't nothing on here. Let's go look at some more. Yeah, that's a lesson right there.
Yeah, I had a friend and she was asking me about it.
Yeah, I got a class on it. I taught a class
Okay.
on it in Atlanta. It's on YouTube. We
Okay.
got several classes on it. Yeah, that's yeah. For the sake of time, yeah, I got a class on that, Clara. Yeah, that's a lot, man. That's a lot. I mean, I know it, but that's why I taught it, and to try to do it in 10, 15 minutes, I won't do y'all justice. You know what I'm saying? But just to give you a gist of it, Clara, you know, you got when the Great Tribulation starts, you're gonna have seven seals. All right, 7 seals. That's gonna be opened up. That's gonna be the duration of the Great Tribulation. When you get to the 7th seal, you got 7 vials that's gonna be opened up. All right, those 7 vials represent the destruction that the Lord is gonna bring Himself personally to this world. All right. See, the first 7 seals is what the Lord gonna allow the Pope to do. Okay, that's coming out of Rome. That's where people call the Antichrist and stuff like that. That's where that's coming out of. It's coming out of Rome. All right, that's called the Great Tribulation. It's gonna be for 3.5 years, nothing but pure hell on this earth. Then after the Great Tribulation, then you got where the Lord is gonna open up these 7 vials, and these 7 vials is called the wrath of God or the wrath from God, and it's gonna be introduced. Each vial that's gonna be poured on this earth is gonna be introduced by a trumpet. That's why we observe the memorial of blowing the trumpets, because it's pointing to something that's going to take place in the future. All right. So that's what's going to take place with Revelations. You know what I'm saying? But I would not be able to give it to you in a short time. Let's look at what's the name? Because that's all y'all got. That's the only question you had. You want? That was the only question you had. The big question. Only question on that list?
The first one was the only one that I could think of that he was interested in. But that was one that my friend from work had asked me kind of about.
Yeah, like me being able to tell you won't be able to explain it to me.
Yeah.
But I got a class on it.
Okay. So
I
I
definitely
maybe
got
ask her if she wants to watch
Yeah, I
it.
definitely got a class on it. I think it's called the Fall of Mystery Babylon at the Second Trump, at the Sign of Trump. Yeah, that's the one dealing with the sign. I got, matter of fact, I got several of them. That's one I did recently.
Well, that's the way you get your views up right there, huh?
I don't care about views.
Nah, I'm like,
I don't care about views. Shoot, we hey, broad is the way to destruction and narrow is the way to salvation. You know what I'm saying? It can be 2 of y'all, not me. You know what I'm saying? That's it's about views, it's about people.
Let's say
This will be full. That's the last thing we worry about.
What did it say? It's easier for a camel to get through the eye of a needle.
Rich man.
The rich man.
Easier for a rich man to get through the camel needle. Easier for
The rich man to get through the eye hole of a needle. I'm sorry, a camel
to enter into the eye of a needle. Therefore,
a rich man make to the king.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, I focus, man. Not to say that we don't want people to get the word, man, but who want to hear this? You know what I'm saying? Who want to walk away from their family? Like, I mean, that ain't what we making you do, but the Lord told you that. He said, I did not come to send in peace, but a sword. And that word gonna tear that household up, man. It tore mine at first. When I started changing, boy, I saw that word, man. Oh my goodness gracious, man. First of all, I realized that we've been lied to. You know what I'm saying? The preacher's lying and taking money, and then you start putting all that traditional stuff down. So you ain't gonna get too many people that want it. See, people gonna start asking questions when the more and more things start ramping up. You see what I'm saying? That's when people gonna start getting scared. See, people gonna serve God until they're scared of Him.
Right.
That's when now when one happens, let's pray. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, please. You know what I'm saying? Somebody drop a bomb on the United States, everybody want to pray. You know what I'm saying?
And they know if they hear it, they ask questions, now you're accountable. Because you know what I'm saying?
And that's really what it is.
So they wouldn't be able to justify their actions, you know what I'm saying?
But see, God is good. See, God is a righteous judge. He ain't gonna just be killing people for no reason. You know, that's like if you didn't know that you was walking into off a cliff. You don't see it. You just matter of fact, you happen to be standing outside talking to somebody on the cliff or something. You just step backwards by mistake. You know, more likely you fall, you still gonna die, right?
Yeah, that happened in California. The chick was Pokemon and trying to find a Pokemon, not paying attention.
Why not, right? Right. Now she didn't know she was gonna do that, did she? She still died though, didn't she? You see what I'm saying? Like, it's like with God, you can't use that excuse. I didn't know what God. Hey, listen, you got your smartphone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody got Facebook now. They got Instagram now. Listen, you want to know something? It's a click away. All you just pick your phone up and live. You know, ask God. That's it. But people, like you say, people don't want to know.
They don't want to know because they know if they look, they're gonna find what they don't want to know, and now they'll be held accountable.
Yeah, that's why the Lord said many of them gonna be in that fight. Say it's gonna be few men left after He burned this place up. Few men left.
But it's damn if you don't, damn if you do though. So you know what I'm saying?
Not necessarily. It's you damned if you don't. You know what I'm saying? You damned if you if you walking, you know, as far as like when you get baptized, like some people don't want to get baptized. And that's when I say you damned if you don't, damned if you do. Because hey, you get baptized, you get them sins off you. You know what I'm saying? Some people are like, well, I need to get myself together first. I need to try to do this and try to do that. I ain't ready yet. I ain't ready to make that covenant. You damned if you do, damned if you don't. You might want to get them sins off of you, as opposed to dying with that sin on you. You see what I'm saying? Because you go in that water, man, you come up, man, the Lord move all them past sins. You know?
But what's worse, like getting baptized correctly and then backsliding, you know?
It ain't really no backsliding with God. Because for you to say backslide, that's almost like saying you can come back. You know what I'm saying? But with God, man, God give you this life. You know what I'm saying? As long as you got the breath of life in your body, you know what I'm saying? You know, like the Bible tell you, the righteous man falls 7 times, but the wicked fall into mischief. You understand? So it ain't like you coming to the word, you ain't gonna fall, you ain't gonna make mistakes. You know, that don't mean you stay there though.
Yeah.
That don't mean you say, oh man, forget it. I'm going to sin now. Yeah. I'm going back to what? No, don't do that. No, just think about it. God understands. You got a high priest that has touched our infirmities. He been here. He been in the flesh. You know, so he can say to the Father, Lord, have some mercy on brother. You know, he tripping. Just have some mercy on him. You know, but it's when you get to that point where you don't want to serve God no more. Like, no, first off, you gonna hit you damned. You really damned there, because like you done made a covenant with God. Like you done married God. You see what I'm saying? You can't just walk away like that. Right. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to how they teach us in the regular church is that you get baptized or you get saved, and if you fall, you come back. I mean, I'm sure somebody's probably gotten baptized 3 times. But that ain't how it go though. When you get baptized the right way, that's it. You get baptized 1 time and that's it. Because it's a covenant. You ain't marrying God over and over and over again. You get married 1 time.
Right.
And them past sins are wiped off of you, man.
So like the first time you said when you got baptized and you was like, you know, you was going through it.
Yeah, I got worse. Yeah. Because I did it the wrong. I went.
So when you got baptized the right way, you like immediately, you know, like you felt something?
No, you don't feel nothing. No, that's like you, it's just a covenant. You know what I'm saying? But I started going through that process when I started finding out about God. That's like all of us. Before we make this decision to go in that water, right? You start finding out about God. You start finding out the things we read in the Bible. He starts showing you stuff. You start realizing, no, man, I ain't know this about him. You start establishing a little bit of fear about him. And at the same time, you being taught that you actually, when you get in this water, your past sin is going to be removed, plus you marrying God. So the process up until that time, you dating God. In other words, he's showing you things in the Bible. He's showing you his power by opening up the scriptures and you understanding things that took place in the Bible. He's showing you how the world gonna come to him. He's showing you how he's gonna set his kingdom up on his earth. He shows you that. And then you say, you know what, God? I'm ready to come into this covenant with you. You see what I'm saying? See, because you've been taught. You have been taught this. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then once you've been taught, then you make the decision, I'm ready to do this now. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So by the time you get here, you just ready to get married. I'm ready to get on your team, you know. You know, show me enough. I don't gotta see nothing else. I'm ready.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So that's how that works. It ain't go down the water, come up and kick it and throwing water on everybody. You know what I'm saying? That ain't how it works, man. You know, people go down and they come up with the Holy Ghost.
Yeah, no, I asked because, you know, when I was younger, telling Julie, I was in jail and the chaplain came through and we was all with the chaplains, you know, at the end when they're like, you know, close your eyes, say the prayer, you know, if anybody wants to accept Christ, you know, raise your hand or whatever the case is. I would see some people like literally change, you know what I'm saying? Like be delving in the word more, you know, like their aura, demeanor has changed, you know what I'm saying, for the better and everything. And I raised my hand and like, it don't seem like nothing changed. So I raised my hand every Sunday.
Right.
You know I mean, it was probably like 7 times I raised my hand. And the guy finally said, he's like, hey, man, like you don't got to keep raising your hand. Like, it's already done. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't feel what I saw other people feel. So
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, some people push it. Some people fake it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like people, like that's why you have so many of these churches filled up with women, because they're so emotional. You know what I'm saying? Like I grew up in churches where it be sisters at church praying for their husband to come. And when I was younger, I wondered, well, why their husband in? Why he in the streets? Why he ain't coming to church? Now I understand why. Because he knew the preacher a crook.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can't pull a wool over a man's eyes like that. You know what I'm saying? So some people, they looking for God. They want it, so they feel like, okay, well, you know, based on what you're telling me, I guess I got to do this now. I can't. I'm gonna try to do this, but that ain't gonna sustain you.
Yeah. If you look,
it's gonna take you for a while, but
be washing sheep's clothing. So.
Yeah, it ain't gonna sustain. That's like when I was, you know, going to see Creflo all over the place. I remember that time he came down to Jacksonville. We came down from Clearwater to come see Creflo. Creflo, one of these, you know, big false preachers in America, in Atlanta.
Creflo Dollar, right?
Yeah, Creflo Dollar. Yeah.
He had a GoFundMe for a G6.
Well, he got that G6. I know that. He got it. He got it from a couple years ago. But
he already had a G4. He was like, man, I gotta go to, you know, minister overseas. I gotta.
Yeah, he upgraded. Yeah, he did. They paid for it too. But when he came here, you know, they on this doctrine about speaking in tongues, right? And you know, I'm just thinking, well, man, maybe I need to speak in tongues. Maybe that'll make me better. I don't know. So we was at the Coliseum before they tore it down some years ago. We at the Coliseum, and you know, they at the end of his sermon or whatever, they call people up, you know, and we no. We go up to the front, and then what they did was, because he said, you want to learn how to speak in tongues, come on up front. So I go up front, I'm like, man, I hope I can get it, boy. You know. Then he had this woman take us in the back of the Coliseum, you know, right by the Jaguar Stadium. We go in the back, man, and she say, well, you know, everybody close your eyes, and we're going to pray. And then when I tell you to open your mouth, just start talking. You're going to be speaking in tongues. So I'm closing my eyes. I'm like, I'm going to get it, man. I believe I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. So she talked to me. She said, now everybody start talking. I open up my mouth. I'm like, I see all these people speaking in tongues. I'm looking like, what in the hell did I do wrong? Why I can't speak in tongues like this? So I'm going home. I'm trying to speak in tongues, man. It just wasn't working, man. I was sincere. God saved me from that. You see what I'm saying? It's a bunch of nonsense, bro. Right. You see what I'm saying? But I really wanted to serve God. That's like them people in jail. They might have really wanted to do something. So they'll go back and sit down and say, well, maybe I need to read, or maybe I need, because that's all they got. They don't know what to really, how to change themselves, because ain't nobody really giving it to them. See, it's the law that's going to convert you. That's why I tell you that in Proverbs chapter 4. You know, and they tell you that the law is what converts the soul. When you start keeping his commandments, that's what's going to change you, man. You understand? But until then, if you just go into church, they just tell you close your eyes and, you know, repeat this sinner's prayer, and now you saved. But I can go back out, I can sleep with all these women, and God forgive me like that?
Yeah,
like, dude, man, like,
what
did he die for then?
Right.
Now, what am I could have just kept doing what I was doing, you know? But when you come into the word, you get understanding. We gonna tell you, nah, bro, you can't do that no more. You know what I'm saying? You can't live like that no more. And you get baptized one time. That's it. Right. You're not getting baptized 2 times. This is your next time your life is on the line. Jesus ain't gonna die for you again. That's it. All your sins gonna be on you. You see? But if you talk that, then you're gonna move with some caution now. Right. You know, as opposed to living freely like we were taught. We just, you know, feel like we're under grace and we can do whatever we want. We're under grace. We ain't got to do that. We're under grace. Okay. All right. Don't play your light bill. Call people telling you.
We're in the grace.
It was like, yeah, you're on the grace. All right. I'll give you 5 days. Call the 5 days. Right. What happened? You gonna be on them candles, exactly. But that's the same with God. He giving you grace not to get yourself together. When it's all said and done, you ain't got it together, man. Your grace period is over with. You're gonna hit that lake of fire. See, that's what the grace is. God sent his son to die for your sin to get you out of that death sentence that Adam brought to this man. Adam brought death, man. When he sinned, now we all gotta die. Jesus came to remove death. That's why he went down in the grave and got up on the third day, and he said, "All power was given into my hand in heaven and earth." In other words, I done defeated death. I'm gonna show you how you gonna be if you do what I say. You're gonna get with everlasting life also. Not when you die at this point. When he returns, that's when people getting up out of the grave. That's why don't think inside your mind, I can live how I want to live. We only got one life. No, you got one life now.
You got eternity.
In the grave, you just sleeping for a while. You're sleeping until God get back. You know, when God get back, hey, people got to get up, man. They got to answer. Matter of fact, look at 1 Corinthians chapter 5. 1 Corinthians chapter 5. I mean, 2 Corinthians 5. I'm sorry. 2 Corinthians chapter 5. And read verse 10.
So we must all appear before the judgment. Before the judgment seat of Christ, that everyone may receive the things done in his body according to that he has done, whether it be good or bad.
Now notice what it says here, though. He says, "For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ," right? That everyone may receive the things done in his body, whether it be good or bad. So you're going to have to answer for the things that you do in this body. You see, you might get away with it right now. You just really just get by because you got to answer for this stuff. That's why it's good to get them sins off of you, so you ain't got to worry about answering for all that stuff you did. You see, that's why we say, hey, you damn if you do, damn if you don't. I understand, people like say, I want to get myself together first, man. How you know you're going to live to see another day?
That's what.
How you know you're going to live to make it to the morning? That's why he said in Psalm 95, the day you hear my voice, harden not your heart. The day you hear it, man, hey, man, you got to start changing immediately, man. But he said, what? For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ, that everyone may receive the things done in his body. God gave everybody a body, right? And there's some things and some action that you do inside this body that you're going to have to answer for. According to that he have done, whether it be good or bad. So we don't get it right now. That's why the world live like they live, because they feel like there's no repercussions. And Satan don't put that out there like that. You just die and it's over with. Nope. Now the Bible considers it sleep. When you sleep, what happens after you sleep for a while? You wake up. That's why I tell you, those that sleep in Jesus gonna get up. But it's all about faith. It's all about faith. It's all about faith. Do you believe it, man? And then just think about it. Well, what if Jesus never did exist? You know what I'm saying? What if he don't come back? Well, what's wrong with you not committing adultery? What's wrong with you not committing fornication? What's wrong with you not killing? What's wrong with you not stealing? You see what I'm saying? Like that's a good moral compass anyway. What's wrong with you coming to church on a Saturday, resting your body, getting in the word? You got 6 days to deal with all them problems you got. On the Sabbath day, hey, matter of fact, we don't force you to stay here all day. All you gotta do is come convocate like he commanded, and you can go home and sleep the rest of the day. What's wrong with that, man? You know what I'm saying? Think about it. See, serving God is easy. It's simple. Man is the one that make it hard and complicated. Right? You see what I'm saying? But anything else? I'm not doing Revelation clear.
I just say that I'm praying for my desires to change. Praying for my desires to change. Mm-hmm. So where it may seem like it's hard to live for God, you know what I'm saying? Because all of the worldly things that you like to do with the flesh, you know what I'm saying? Everything that you like to do that's fun and everything is morally wrong, really. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I just continue to pray that my desires change. Right. You know what I'm saying? That I no longer lust for those things, and I lust for, the Lord and follow his lead. Right. Well, it's a fight. Go look at Romans 7. It's definitely a fight, man. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely a fight. But like I tell you in 1 Corinthians,
We're going to look at Romans 7, but here in 1 Corinthians, it says, 1 Corinthians chapter 11.
Corinthians or Romans?
We're going to both of them. I'm going to just read 1 Corinthians 10 right quick. We're going to go to Romans chapter 7. Because Paul was dealing with the same thing. But he says something in 1 Corinthians chapter 10. He said, there have no temptation taking you, but such as is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that you are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear. So God will make a way for you to get out of it, brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just got to want to serve God. But he said, verse 14, wherefore, my dearly beloved, flee from idolatry. So you got to run from some things, in other words. But Romans chapter 7 here. So the things that you experience, hey, it ain't nothing new, man. You know, we all been down that road before, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like, we all made conscious decision that we going to serve God. And that's the decision you got to make, man. Even though, because Satan going to be there. I mean, Satan came at Jesus. As soon as he came out the wilderness, man, as soon as he got baptized, Satan was right there.
I bet you're hungry.
He was like, yeah, you hungry, right? You turn that stone. That's what he said. He said, what you got, turn that stone into bread. Say you got away, jump down off his mouth, man. You know, the angels ain't going to let you hurt yourself. You know, he quoted scripture on him. So he came right. You think he ain't, and matter of fact, Jesus defeated him with the word of God. But it tells you that Satan left for a season. We talking about Satan leaving God for a season. If he left God for a season, you know he's gonna come get you, man. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He may leave and run away from, let me go get somebody else. Let me go try them and see how they gonna do. And then after a while, things start going good, boy. He'll pop back up on you. You're like, oh my goodness, man. That's why you gotta always keep your, keep that armor, that word of God, stay covered in that word, man. You know. But Romans 7 here. It says, Romans 7, we're going to pick this up at verse 7. Read that.
What shall we say then? Is the law sin?
Mm-hmm.
God forbid.
I'm sorry. Skip down to verse, what's the name? Skip down to verse, because this is really what he's saying here. Skip down to verse 22.
For I delight in the law of God after the inward man.
I don't want to read that. I'm going to come up a little more, then read down. Start at 14.
For we know that the law is spiritual.
Because it comes from God. Like, all the stuff that we doing, this come from God. We didn't make this up. You know what I'm saying? All the stuff that the Lord tells us to do, and this stuff is good for us. So this stuff helps us live our life, man, in a proper manner. You know what I'm saying? Like, dealing with what's coming from God. But he's telling you that this is spiritual. The law is spiritual. People got a problem with keeping the law, but it comes from God. Like, you ain't got no problem going to work, do you? Do you? You got a problem getting to work on time? Why? Because you know you're going to get paid if you get to work on time, right? But what if you go in there and say, I don't want to keep your law no more? They're going to say, get your behind out of here, man. You know what I'm saying? They say you need to clock in at a certain time, you need to clock out at a certain time. You got a lunch break, you need to get on that lunch break. And, there's a law set. You see what I'm saying? There's a law outside that lets you know if you run the red light, you're going to get a ticket, right? So do we run the red light? Do we sit up there purposely? We may sneak every now and then, but for the most part, you know what I'm saying, we trying to keep it, right? Why? Because there's a law there. There's a law that hey, you can't steal, you can't run into a bank and rob the bank. I don't care how hard times get, you still don't run to the bank and rob it. Because there's a law there. That you're gonna go to jail if you get caught. You might get killed also. You see what I'm saying? But you ain't got no problem keeping that law. Well, just like man got his laws, guess what? God got a law. But his law not fleshly. His law is spiritual. That's why he says, for we know that the law is spiritual, but I'm what?
Carnal. I am carnal, sold under sin.
Keep reading.
For that which I for that which I do, I allow not. For what I do, that I do not. But what I hate, that I do, that I do.
All right, y'all know that's confusing. Man, listen, boy, when you read Paul's right, man, you gotta break it down. You gotta just slow it down. He says what? He says, 14, he said 15, for that which I do, I allow not. The things that I end up doing, listen, I don't want to do that stuff, man. I don't allow myself to do that. But this is going back to your question, or going back to the statement where I pray that, my lust won't be toward the things of the world. Right. But I just want to show you that, hey, man, even Paul was dealing with these issues. Just like every man go through this stuff, man. He says, for that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I not. So the things that I should be doing, I end up not doing it, man. You know how it is, man. I should have did this. I wanted to do this, man, but I end up, somebody got it. They call it peer pressure. But inside your head, you got the spirit telling you not to do that. He say, for that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I not. But what? What?
Oh, but what I hate, that do I.
Right. So the things that I hate, that's what I end up doing. Go ahead and read, brother.
If then I do that which I would not, I consent under the law, that it is good. Now then, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwell in me.
What verse you at?
17.
All right, so go back to 16 one more time.
Oh, did I skip?
No, go ahead.
Okay. If then I do that which I would not.
So he says, so if then I end up doing what I shouldn't do or don't want to do, read that again, that last part.
I consent.
I agree, or I consent that the law is good. You see, that's what I told. That's what's gonna change. You gonna need that law. Like you can want to do good all you want to, but if you don't got no moral compass or something they're telling you, or guiding you, or showing you what's right, then you left up to yourself. Right. You see what I'm saying? We all left up to ourselves. But this is why Paul's saying, hey, if I end up doing the things that I hate, I consent that the law is good, man. Why? Because it's keeping me from doing things that I shouldn't be doing.
And you know what you shouldn't be doing.
Absolutely. But all of us, we know it's things that we shouldn't be doing. But if we don't have nothing written down there to tell us not to, we feel like we can do it. But now when you get into the word, you see that it tells you not to do it. That's what you live by.
Yeah, and if somebody like Paul is going through it, I'm good old me. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly, man. And that's what I want you to see.
Right.
Go ahead and read verse 18.
For I know that in me, that is in my flesh.
Right, so and sometimes when you read in parentheses, it'll just break down or kind of explain what it's really talking about. That's why he say, for I know, like if you read it without the parentheses, it says, for I know that in me dwell no good thing, right? But in parentheses, he's going to explain what he's talking about. He said, for I know that in me, that is in my flesh, dwell no good thing for what?
For to will is present with me.
Right, so he said, but the will is present with me, man. Like you say, man, I need to pray for me that I don't fall victim to these lusts, in other words. Like Paul said, he said, well, for to will is present with me. It's with all of us, right? We all want to do good. It's in us. But what?
So how to perform that which is good, I find not.
Right, so he said, hey, but how to perform that was good, that which is good, I find not. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how am I supposed to do right. I want to do right, it's inside of me, but how to perform that which is good, I find not. Read that. What else you say, brother?
For the good that I would, I do not.
He say, for the good that I would, I end up not doing it, man. I want to do right, but I end up not doing it. What else?
But the evil which I would not.
But the evil that I don't want to do, what?
That I do.
That's what I end up doing. You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna say you gotta slow down with Paul, right, man? You would get, man, you slow down and take your time on it and it'll clear itself up for you. But he said, but the evil which I would not, that I do. What else, brother?
Now, if I do that, I would not. It is no more I that do it.
Right. He said, yeah, if I end up doing the stuff that I don't want to do, listen, it ain't me that's doing this. But what?
The sin that dwelleth.
Right. It's that sin inside that man that's calling you. That carnal mind, that fleshly desires that's inside you, that end up causing you to do this stuff. Go ahead and read.
I find then a law that when I would do good, evil is present with me.
He said, man, I see a law there that when I do good, evil is present, man. It's like a fight going on. You got like we was talking about earlier, got that good angel on one side, you got the evil angel sitting there, man. Like you say, like I was saying, like a tug of war. Yeah. He said, when I find then a law that when I would do good, evil is present with me. What else?
For I delight in the law of God after the inward man.
Right, so you want to do right. He say, man, I delight in the law of God after the inward man. Inside your mind, man, you thinking, man, hey, man, I want to do what God said. I want to keep his commandments and stuff. But on the other hand, what it say, 23.
But I see another law in my members warring against the law of my
Right, so he got another law in his flesh warring against the law of his mind. In your mind, you want to do right. But at the same time, you got that law in that flesh, like, hey, man, I ain't got to do this. I can do this. You see what I'm saying? That's that fight that's going on inside this man. That's why he say here, but I see another law in my members doing what?
Warring against the law of my mind.
Oh, see, you got a fight going inside on the side of your mind. There's a war going on for your mind, brother, whether you know it or not. You see? God is on one side. That's the tree of life that he told you can eat from and live forever. Then you got the tree of knowledge out here, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. That's going to lead you to death, brother. That's on the other side. That's why he's telling you here what he said, warring against the law of my mind. Go ahead and read.
And bringing me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members.
That's right. So here, he said, I warn against, there's a war going on against the law of my mind. And it's bringing me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members. Verse 24. Wretched.
A wretched man. Oh, wretched man.
Wretched man that I am. What?
Oh, wretched man that I am.
Who
shall deliver me from the body of this death?
Right. So he said, oh, wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from this body of death? You need to be delivered from this, brother. Somebody, like, we're in bondage to it. Somebody, not only spiritually, but we need to be delivered from this body of death. We in captivity to this. I don't care how much money you get. I don't care how rich you are. I don't care how pretty you are, how swole you are, how skinny you are. It don't matter. Guess what? At some point, you're going to die. You're in bondage to death. Somebody got to deliver you from it. You see? That's why he say here what? He say, who shall deliver me from this body of death? What's the answer?
I thank God through Jesus Christ.
So that's how you're going to get delivered. He said, I thank God through Jesus Christ that what?
Our Lord.
So
then with the mind, I myself serve the law of God.
So with the mind, I do what? I keep God's law, man. But like I said, I understand it's tough. I mean, we all had that battle going on. But once you start getting it, man, you start tasting the good word of God, man, it starts changing. And regardless of what's going on in your life, man, at the end of the day, man, like, hey, when you start getting this word, the word start changing, you all the other problems start becoming minute. I promise you. You know what I'm saying? So he say, so then with the mind, I myself serve the law of God. With your mind, you do it, but what?
But with the flesh of the law of sin.
He say, but with the flesh, the law of sin. So that carnal mind, when you get in the way and you want to do it your way, hey, you're serving the law of sin. And it's going to essentially take you to death. But when you start obeying the law that's from the Spirit or that's from God, then that's going to keep you.
Yeah, I'm done going on my way. Laid me in prison for 4 years.
Yeah, man. All of us waiting to us up, man.
That's why I always quote John 15:5, "For I am the vine, you are the branches. If a man remain in me and I in him, he will bear much fruit. Apart from me, he can do nothing."
That's absolutely correct, man.
So I know, without God, I can't.
Right.
I'm just a man. I'm weak.
Right. Absolutely, man. That's how the Lord help you, man. That's how the Lord, showing a sense of humbleness, man. That's how the Lord increase you and you understand it, man. You just gotta stay on it, man. That's all. You gotta stay on it, man. Anything else? Anything else? Y'all put me to work today, man. Man, that's all. I ain't been to Jacksonville in about a month and a half, so it's all cool. It's cool. Anything else? None? All right, well, we're going to go and close out there. Let me make sure I got nothing 7 o'clock. Man, kick us out of here. Yes.
No one of y'all.
I'm telling you, we used to this, man. We used to do this all the time, man. And we still in Atlanta, we don't leave church, man. I mean, I can't believe they got done already, but, usually we're running about 8 o'clock. When the sun go down, we still be running, man, because we have so many people online asking. So Jacksonville gonna start picking up his son, trying to get the brothers tight, get everybody good, man. Jacksonville ain't gonna be like this for a long time. You just gotta have a steady foundation. That's all. Steady foundation, and next thing you know, when that thing take off, man, y'all be ready. When people start coming into church with all that gossip and stuff, y'all brothers know Get it out, man. Yeah. Gotta start small. That's how we started. Started small. I'm gonna see if I get another building in Atlanta soon, man, because Atlanta's growing. You know, but Jackson, like I say, Jackson, I'm from Jacksonville. I know what they want down here. They want the word down here. And the one thing about Jacksonville, they serious about serving false gods, man. But if you can just get them to change their mind, then they'll be serious about serving the true and living God. But it's just a matter of time, man. It's just a matter of time. Like if they don't do nothing else down here in Jacksonville, boy, they got churches galore. Everybody loves Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Never been in the city. They got a big old Baptist church in the middle of downtown. Shut everything.
They bought up all the liquor licenses too.
Huh?
They bought up all the liquor licenses.
First Baptist?
Yeah, First Baptist Church. They bought
That's
all
why they got no nightlife downtown?
Yeah, because they said, they didn't want people throwing up more, strip clubs and bars and alcohol. So now to get a liquor license, if you were to open up a bar or something like that, you got at least one. You got to look at the newspaper, at least one. Because First Baptist bought them all up.
Yeah, man. First Baptist stop Jacksonville.
They own pretty much downtown.
Yeah. What's his name? I forgot his name. Lindsay. Homer Lindsay, right?
Yeah.
His son died, and then he died first, and his son died. But they got long money, man. They got long money. Him and a couple other families. They got Jacksonville on lockdown, man. That's why, just growing up here, man, that's all we really did. Went to church, man. Church. Everybody go to church. Yeah, no life here, man. I mean, it was cool, it was good to raise the family and stuff. But I'm just saying, like, it wasn't. I mean, we got the beach and stuff like that, but
It's the biggest city in the United States land-wise. There's Adventureland.
and that's it.
That's it.
They tried to get Six Flags to come, and they shut that down.
Yeah, it was supposed to go, I think, up in Normandy or
Cecil Field.
something like that. Cecil Field.
Yeah, Six Flags, they shut that down. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they just stopped a lot of stuff, but I don't know, man. Oh, boy, Khan is on something else.
Boy, he got the money.
Khan got the bread. Shy Khan, he ain't playing, boy. He bringing what he brought the Dave's amphitheater down there.
Yeah,
New,
look,
you can stop that, man.
Despite
We'll close down.
Despite the 4 years or 5 years of him owning the team, he bought the team for $765 million. Despite 4 consecutive losing seasons, the Jaguars is up to 1.5 billion.
I believe it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he doing some stuff for the city. He needs to, cause man, y'all pray for me tomorrow, boy. Ooh, please pray for me tomorrow. Y'all keep. What's your name, brother?
Joe.
Yeah, y'all keep Brother Joe in your prayer also, guys.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you go ahead, brother.
Our Father which art in heaven,
Our Father which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done in earth.
Thy will be done in earth
as it is in heaven.
As it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread.
Give us this day our daily bread.
And forgive us of our debts.
And forgive us our debts.
As we forgive our debtors.
As we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation.
And lead us not into temptation.
But deliver us from evil.
But deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom.
For thine is the kingdom.
And the power.
And the power.
And the glory.
And the glory.
Forever.
Forever.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
For he is good.
For he is good.
His mercy endures forever.
And his mercy endures forever.
Praise the Lord God of Israel.
Praise the Lord God of Israel.
For he is good.
For he is good.
And his mercy endures forever.
And his mercy endures forever.
In Jesus' name we pray.
In Jesus' name we pray.
The Holy One of Israel.
The Holy One of Israel.
The King of Kings.
The King of Kings.
And Lord of Lords.
And Lord of Lords.
The one true God.
The one true God.
And there is no other.
And there is no other.
In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name, we pray.
Hallelujah.
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 In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
Did it. It'll work, man. It'll work.